10,000.
Welcome to the MSPT live stream. I'm Chad Holloway, kind of flying not solo this week. Brian Molesky is back home in Minnesota, so I am joined in the booth by WSOP bracelet winner Adam Friedman and MSPT champ Josh Reichard. Say hello, fellas.
Hello, fellas.
How you guys doing?
So we're at FireKeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan for what was another record-breaking tournament. 1,066 entries, made it the largest tournament in Michigan State history. That's a record we've kind of gotten used to seeing as we've set it every time we've come in the last 3 stops. So just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And an interesting storyline at this final table is that in every one of those tournaments, Poker Pro Aaron Massey, who won this event 1 year ago, he just keeps final tabling this thing. It's pretty incredible, and he's the chip leader at the start of this final table.
And right away, he's involved in the first pot.
Starting things aggressively, as you would expect with the chip lead.
So it looks like right away here, Massey raised under the gun +1, and the guy who's second in chips at this final table.
Scriba.
Yes, Scott Scriba from Mason is called, and Massey's put a little standard continuation bet, and Scriba makes a play here. I think he's going to be telling Aaron, I'm here to play with you. Because he did not hit any of this flop. Nobody has no backdoors or anything.
Yeah, being second in chips, you wouldn't expect him to be going out of his way to get too involved against a chip leader at this point.
I'll do a little quick rundown at who we have at this final table. In the 1 seat is Dustin Smith of Middleville. Seat number 2 is Joe Hinton of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Seat 3, Daniel Pannoni, Rochester, Michigan. Frank Lucarelli is in the 4 seat from Woodhaven, Michigan. Seat 5 is Aaron Massey. We've already talked a little bit about him, from Chicago. Scott Scriba from Mason is in the 6th seat. In the 7th seat, Justin Rice out of Waterford, Michigan. Mike Shanahan, seat 8. He's out of Avon. I believe that's in Michigan.
Indiana.
Indiana, okay. Coming from the furthest away in this 9th seat, Chris Myers. He's in the yellow long sleeve with the jersey over it right there. He's from Buffalo, New York. And in the 10th seat, in the blue jacket, Terry Moore from Muncie, Indiana.
And looks like we have a couple of hands here right away. We have ace-king, ace-queen. It's going to be interesting to see if we get a big pot here right away. Shanahan raising the ace-king middle position. And Hinton, who's sitting on about a 20 big stack with about 1.6 million. And just so you guys know, we're playing 40-80,000 at the moment. It'll be interesting to see if Hinton plays fairly aggressive here.
We got to the final table fairly late, given the field size of over 1,000 players. The first time the MSPT's ever had such a big field outside of Las Vegas.
And it looks like we are going to get an all-in and a call here. Hinton moving all in with the ace-queen offsuit here for about 20 bigs. And Shanahan instantly moved all in. And you can see the look on his face. He's like, uh-oh.
He knows.
He knows he's in. He's praying for jacks or tens.
Yeah, he's hoping for a coin flip.
Yeah, and he's not surprised to being dominated here.
Yep, so things are off to a quick start already. Didn't take but the second hand to get somebody all in for their tournament life.
Nothing there for Hinton.
No, it didn't. Ooh, that took an out away. He's got to hit he's got to hit the queen of clubs or the queen of spades.
Queen of clubs been folded, so it's 1 out. Queen of spades.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah.
And not there. So hand number 2 of this final table, and we already lose a player.
Yeah, Joe Hinton from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Made the drive up here. His largest cash part of this was $9,000. So he did better than that in this tournament by a good amount, cashing for just over $14,000. Congratulations, Joe. finishing 10th out of a field of 1,066 runners in the biggest tournament in the MSPT outside of Las Vegas is no small feat. So congratulations to him.
Not bad for your first MSPT cash to nab $14,000.
Well done, congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you back here next time when hopefully we get 1,200 runners in October.
I mean, how does it keep getting so big? I don't know. We'll have to go to add an extra day to accommodate for the field because this place has just been packed.
Yeah, I remember when I asked you about 2017, 3 years ago, when I was I rarely ever play poker leading up to the World Series of Poker, and I remember asking like Chad, like, what do you think about me coming up playing the MSPT up here? So I was like, all right, so you told me I'll like it up here. He said, I think I'll like the action. It's not that far a drive from where I'm at, and I think at the time, how many runners were there? Was it 300 something runners?
Yeah, I mean, I look back. So this is our 9th stop at the FireKeepers Casino. Back in season one, not season one, our first visit here rather, which was in 2013, the total field was 272 players. And I mean, just the day one A flight here got more than that, or almost not more than that. It got 250 players, so it looks like another all in here, and just the third hand.
Yeah, looks like the guy who came with the shortest stack at this table, Daniel Panone, is making a stand with ace 4 off, and I can't imagine Myers is going to fold this for how much more? About 500,000 approximately?
Yeah, even less than that, and he has plenty of chips.
380,000 to call, so.
Yeah, he's going to need to hit an ace here.
And there it is.
Yep, there it is, right on the flop.
It seems like there's always, you get drawn to that one over, and it's an ace, it always comes, but Myers not drawn dead, he needs to hit a 7.
Will you at least get a 3 spot in the river? Any chance you'll at least get a 3 spot looking at a 6 or 8 at least to get the sweat?
Looks like they're both live.
No, not even a 3 spot. That's just a brutal sweat for Myers. But Panone came in a short, picked the spy, got fortunate, but you've got to get fortunate to win the spots occasionally.
And he's still on the shorter side of things, but he's not the short stack any longer. That distinction is going to go to Terry Moore, who's the only player now under $1 million in chips. To put that in perspective, you see it on the screen there, over 21 million total chips in play. That's just a number we're not used to seeing on these broadcasts because we don't so actually, that's in the history of MSPT live streams, that's the biggest chip count we've ever seen because we don't live stream from the MSPT Venetian in Las Vegas. So pretty just a pretty astounding number for those of us who are in the booth frequently. Adam, you've been here before. Josh, this is your first time joining us, though not your first experience with an MSPT final table. You won one back in season 4. I was there.
Yeah, another guy in this booth was at that table.
Josh and I played together at Ho Chunk Casino in Wisconsin, and I ended up finishing 5th. He ended up winning the whole thing, and we talked about it earlier this weekend. We never really clashed at all during that tournament. We went into the final table first. You were first in chips. I was second in chips, and I never really got anything going, and you just decimated the competition.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get dealt aces a few times with players all in front of me, and you know,
the rest is history.
Yes. You got unlucky, so I didn't have to deal with you.
Another Reichard that plays is your dad, Brett, who actually had a deep run in this tournament. What was it? He finished in 12th place, just missed out on the final table.
13th.
13th.
Yeah.
And he got it in a flip. He had ace king against queens, and the queens held.
Yeah, I've never been able to do commentary because every time I was going to, he always ends up making the final table.
We've seen your dad at a few final tables. Meskwaki, I recall I think it was last season.
Yeah.
Interesting flop here. Massey defending the 8-7 off, and Myers figures to put a standard continuation bet here, flopping about as good as he can realistically hope for. And I don't think Massey's going to fold his gut shot. In fact, chances are he's going to call, and when if the turn is like an offsuit 3, he'll probably go check on the turn. And Aaron will. That's just my prediction. That Aaron will stab the river, and that'll be that. But, he actually checked behind the flop, didn't he?
Aaron picking up an 8 here is going to change things, how it plays out.
I'm surprised. What do you think of Myers checking the flop?
It also surprises me, but I do understand the logic behind it. He doesn't want to get in a spot where he's got to get all of his chips in.
Against the chip leader,
yeah.
Against one of the few people who can bust him.
Just playing a little pot control.
Yeah. Massey will probably just call here.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to get 2 streets from Aaron here.
Perfect river for Myers.
Mm-hmm. But Aaron's really good, and he goes with his read in a lot of situations. That's one thing he's really good at, so I don't put it by him finding a fold here.
So what do you think? How much do you think he'll bet on the river here? Myers about 250.
I would expect a little bigger, 325 maybe, and then Aaron will make his decision.
That's 375.
Let's see who was right on who guessed.
375, I think they said.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah.
Not even close. Of course, people know me. I tend to bet on the smaller side on average on everything.
Yeah, I guess he's maybe trying to make it go a little bigger. Well, I mean, it's only half pot, roughly, so it's not that big, but trying to make it look a little bluffy. And you see Aaron looking him down and trying to get a read, which is something I would always expect him to be doing. He does that really well.
Yeah, he knows this guy might value bet his ace high on the turn, but he won't bet on the river, so he's trying to think, is this guy have Jack 10? Maybe was there? No, he would have figures to have bet a diamond draw on the flop.
Yeah, how many bluffs
So
is he left with
Jack
here?
10, Queen 10.
Those hands probably just c-bet the flop and try to win, you know. So Aaron knows he has some showdown value when he checks back flop. And then two streets, obviously he might bet one with worse hands, but now
He doesn't figure to bet both. And yeah, he looks very cool.
Really
yeah,
good
he looks
fold
very
by
calm, collected. Myers, he looked very comfortable the way he was just sitting there.
yeah,
And Massey making a very good laydown on the river.
yeah.
So Myers picks up his first pot, and he's now at this final table. Now he's at right around $2.5 million.
Yeah, he
Like-
picked up those chips that he lost just the hand before with the sevens versus the ace four. He got him right back. So
Yeah, like Chad mentioned earlier, Myers, who made the longest trek out here from Buffalo, pretty long drive out here. I'm going to guess he flew in, but if he didn't, that's strong. It shows you how popular this place has become. People are willing to come from all over.
yep,
Several
MSPT draws players from everywhere.
people are coming from. I mean, the biggest Minnesota contingents now come down here now. I happily come up here from Ohio. You know, it hurts when I'm actually in this state in particular, because we all know Ohio is just the better state. But you know, it's
8, 9 fold.
is what it is in those spots.
They're all inferior to their neighbor in Wisconsin.
1 fold.
Well, of course, we did beat you guys in overtime in Madison this year.
Yeah, football is where you guys are always going to be having the advantage.
Of course, you guys, let's see, I mean, you heard us when we were number 1 5 years ago. You returned the opening kickoff. I remember the touchdown on a night game. 2003, we were going for back-to-back champions, and then Lee Evans gets the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, there's been some good games between our
Yeah.
two respective schools.
And then we've, like, brutalized you in a couple of, like, river beats on the end.
Pocket kings for Aaron in the small blind. No action though.
Yeah, someone open folded ace nine. That was the only hand that he could have possibly gotten any action from there.
Take this opportunity to tell you guys a little bit more about the tournament. There were 1,066 entries, as you see on the screen there. That means 99 spots were paid out. There was over $1 million in the prize pool, which is another MSPT record for the Midwest. One of the guys in the booth with me actually got a little piece of that. Adam ended up finishing in 95th place. What happened? How come you didn't go any further?
Because I like to spread the wealth. I mean, I'm a nice guy like that. People know that about me. I figure I'm going to win so much in Las Vegas over the next month. You know, why be greedy?
One up in you, finishing in 94th, is somebody that people will recognize from a broadcast not long ago. Loki Abood from Minnesota made the trek over, finished in 94th place. Wisconsin State poker champion Andy Rubenberg finished in 83rd. Let's see who else we got. Eddie Ochana,
100,000.
72nd for almost $2,900.
And I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. Looks like we got a couple pretty good hands here. Moore, who's raised on the short stack with 9s. It's going to be interesting to see what Lucarelli does with ace-queen here in the cutoff. You can tell he's going over all. He's definitely not going to fold right away. Wow.
Fold.
That's pretty strong.
Some people don't like the old ace queen.
They've been listening to Norman Chad, I guess.
Yeah, but then we know by now we can't listen to... I mean, Norman Chad's poker game is just a little bit lacking. And just Norman's a buddy of mine, so anytime I get to make fun of him, I happily take the opportunity.
See, 47th place, Jason Bender. He just finished runner-up at the MSPT Grand Falls regional event 2 weekends ago. Cy Church was 44th place. He finished runner-up in the Michigan State Poker Championship MSBT event here back in October. That's the same one that Aaron Massey finished 7th place in. Nick Papillo, 40th place. Mike Dice, 36th place. He was the MSBT Season 5 Player of the Year. Carl Denudo, Hot Carl, finished in 31st place. It was a rare bow out for Carl. He's our 3-time MSPT champ. He now has 6 main event cashes. 4 of those are final table appearances. 3 of those are wins. But this one here was his worst cash ever, if you will. He finished in 31st place for almost $5,300. Another buddy of ours, Jason Smith, who was gonna come into the booth with us, but ended up having to take a buddy home, and then there was already 3 of us, so we said, you know what, feel free to stay home and just watch the broadcast. So Jason, if you're watching, hello from us all. You took 34th place for $52.66. And let's see, anybody else leading up to it? Todd Brayfogle, he finished 15th, came from Minnesota for almost $11,000. We already said your dad. Josh Brett Reichard took 13th for the same amount. And then bubbling this final table was Charlie Dawson. He was the last MSPT champion in the field. He won the MSPT Tropicana Evansville a couple years back. I think, Adam, you were actually at that event as well.
I was. Yeah, I think I commentated on that final table as well.
So Ace King here for Rice.
Smith doing a little Hollywooding. Take about 4 more seconds and fold. Oh, less than 4.
Don't you miss the days like 2005, 2006 where people would just go with the Queen Jack there? They'd just go nuts with Queen Jack?
Yeah, they were like, I got money in, I call. And then people started to write books, and here's the math. Here's why you don't call. Thanks a lot, authors. I was doing quite well before all you guys came out with your information.
Yeah, the game's changed quite a bit since those years. Things have come a long way. A lot tougher to make money, but
Yeah, back in those days, correct me if I'm wrong, but my perception was, there was like 2 people at the table who would be good at any poker table you were at. The rest were, learning, or, some people might call fish. Nowadays, you're lucky if you have 1 or 2 people that are kind of on the softer side of things at the poker table. Everyone just seems to know what they're doing.
That's how it seems. I mean, why do you think I don't play much No Limit anymore? I try to stick to the mixed games.
yeah, I miss the glory days because I wasn't old enough yet to be playing live poker, but I definitely...
Oh, great. So I should show off how young you are. I mean, how old am I compared to you guys?
I've seen the progression over time, and it's definitely got a lot tougher. I agree with you about probably majority of players at the table are going to be good poker players.
And here's Massey putting his chip stack to use by raising Queen 8 off in the hijack, and I'm guessing Myers is definitely going to be defending his suited ace of the big blind.
Yeah, I would agree. We'll get to see these two play another post-flop pot, most likely.
9 calls.
And that's a good flop for Massey, because when Myers checks, Massey figures the continuation bet is gut shot, and he'll just take it down right there.
Yep, not even a single heart for Myers there,
Yeah.
so I guess he's most likely just going to check fold. Not a good flop.
Bet 175.
It's something that I've advocated in past broadcasts. Aaron's betting on the smaller side, which I'm a very big fan of. Betting, did he even bet 1/3 of the pot there? 175.40. Yeah, he bet like right around 1/3 of the pot. You guys know I'm a very big fan of betting very small when that's all you have to do. You don't have to bet 250 or 300 when 175 will do the trick.
Yeah, you usually can get the same information out of a smaller bet.
Let's see if we got any big hands here. Yeah, we got a couple hands here.
King, Jack, pocket fives, ace, queen.
Yeah, Pannone picking up ace queen on the gun +1. It's he's just gonna move all in. The only real decision looks like is gonna be Moore, who has the only person he has covered is the big blind who has pocket fives. It'll be interesting to see if he calls off here with 2 5s.
I'm gonna guess not.
I think he's going to fold too.
I wouldn't fault him if he did, but
Yeah. Pick a spot in order to get chips or
9 folds.
go on here and
yeah, he folds really quickly.
yeah.
Folds.
It's hard to pick up pairs though.
Yeah. Better to not be calling off with them though.
Very, very true.
Another shift I've seen in poker. You guys can maybe give me your opinion on it. There was a time where people said 10 big blinds was shove or fold, and it seems like people have tweaked that back now to, people aren't afraid to dip down to like say 5 big blinds before they really get into that panic mode where they're shoving with any 2 cards that look good.
That seems to be the case. I probably still tend to shove a little bit more often around the 8 to 9, but if the tournament allows itself to where I know it's correct, because either I feel like I can pick up a pot or 2 unnecessarily, I'll go as low as 4 or 5 if I have to. Sometimes it's just that's just the way it is sometimes. And second time we've seen kings at this final table, but looks like when Rice raised here in the hijack, looks like he's not going to get any opposition here, is he?
Wouldn't
5,
guess so.
yeah.
7 raises, 175.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, the majority of people, are probably still open shoving well over 10 big blinds, but there is some players that elect to play that stack a little differently than what they would have in the past. I lean towards the side of just opening off of, lower big blind stacks than what most people would.
Yeah, I would guess. Would you say more players probably who play this, who play the MSPT, are more likely to shove on a 10, 12 big blind stack? And
Yeah, majority of them for sure. We saw already the guy had ace queen here and open shove 15 big blinds, which is what you usually would see from players. But I do agree with Chad that a lot more players have gone to raising off of that stack rather than just open shoving, but still a minority. Looks again like we might just end up having a raise and take it down from the ace-king.
Yeah,
We'll see. Panoni could defend the
he
big
could
blind with
definitely
the
defend the
9-7 of clubs.
I am definitely myself with 15 bigs. I don't know about yourself. I'm definitely defending 9-7 clubs unless the guy makes it really big pre-flop. If he makes a standard raise, like to 175, I'm definitely defending the 9-7 of clubs.
Yeah, I also defend the big blind pretty wide. We're going to get to pick up the tendencies of these players and how they like to do things as the table goes on. We saw Aaron defend the big blind with the 7-8 off, which I would myself too, but some players are going to be playing their big blind really tight.
You can tell Myers looks like he wants to get involved with 6-5 of hearts. He wants to gamble a little bit. Is that a re-raise?
Yeah, he's going with the 3-bet.
Looks like it's gonna be a little bad time in here.
Yeah, I would expect Scriba just to 4-bet shove with these effective stack sizes and take it down.
Oh, I'm 0 for 1. I might be 0 for 2 here. I don't think he's going to jam. I think he's going to just call. But you might be right.
He did open +2, so makes Myers 3-bet look a little stronger for sure.
He seems like a comfortable guy at this table, Myers. Looks very calm and collected.
Yeah, I played with him on day 1A, and he seemed comfortable then. He played pretty solid throughout. Oh, you're right.
All right, I'm 1 for 2. All right,
there you
all
go.
right, we're 1-1 now.
Yeah. That was, like, what, 27 big blinds effective?
And that flop figures to favor Myers. Not ideal if you have ace-king if you're trying to spike a pair or 2. But again, it's okay to flat occasionally ace-king. For trapping purposes and if you just don't want to get a big pot right away. I understand it. It's okay to do occasionally. You don't have to just go all in nonstop because you have ace-king.
Yeah, I agree. Now is he just? I guess you said for trapping purposes, but is he just going to check fold this flop? He's got the king of clubs.
I think he's probably going to check fold. He's going to.
It's really hard for him to continue with the stack sizes the way they are.
Yeah, I mean these aren't. I mean they're not super deep, everybody. So You can't afford to just be making too many flats. And it's actually a pretty healthy bet there from Myers, betting about half the pot.
Yeah, bigger than I would have expected from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect Myers just to fold here as well, but... Or, I'm sorry, Scriba. It's a well-played hand by Myers, but Scriba in a really tough spot.
Yep, and Myers is able to take down the pot with the worst hand.
There's a lot of ICM implications with the shorter stack sizes. As deep as those two were, he's just applying pressure, and it worked out well.
For those of who might not be aware, can you explain ICM to our listeners?
So each chips has independent value right now, based off the payouts and how many chips are in play. So the guys with 30 big blinds, you see these chip counts here. Some guys have 16, 13, 12 big blinds. They really don't want to bust before those short stacks get their chips in. So you can really use aggression to abuse the ICM implications. Oh, there's aces.
And I don't think you're going to be able to abuse Rice off of 2 aces. The only question is if Scriba raises here with King Jack in another position.
Yeah, it looks like
If he raises if he raises in when Rice figures to re-raise here, is he going to be is he going to start to get a little tilted? Wow, they keep 3-betting me.
I think that not quite yet. This is just second hand. I think he'll probably just fold to a 3-bet here if Rice elects to 3-bet. Now there are some shove stacks behind, but how wide are they doing that at a final table? So I would expect him to just 3-bet rather than do anything tricky here. Especially after seeing him flat a 3-bet the hand before. He doesn't know he had a big hand with ace king, so he might think that he might flat another 3-bet here.
Re-raise.
So that's about what, 450 approximately?
Yeah, 435 maybe. Looks like, or no? Are there's 2? Yeah, 435.
You've got much better eyes than I do.
8, 9, 10 fold, 1 fold.
I think I agree. I think he's going to fold this
3,
one.
4 fold.
Yeah, he might put in a little Hollywood. It's on the smaller side, but he could peel here, but I really don't expect him to.
6 fold.
Yeah, pretty quick fold.
So Rice just picked up kings about, what, 3 hands ago and then gets aces.
Yeah, I played with him in the satellite earlier this week, and we got down to the bubble, and he had about 300,000 chips. The next closest stack was maybe 90,000, so he was just talking about how he's never run that good in a tournament before, and looks like it's continued into the main event here.
Yeah, Justin Rice from Waterford, Michigan, who he's cashed for $20,000 in the World Series of Poker main event before, and you know, likes to play poker as often as possible. And this is his first MSPT cash. He's making the most of it right now.
Yeah, it's nice to see new players coming out and playing the MSPT and making runs.
And after getting kings and aces, he's now going to get ace jack here.
7 raises.
Massey's got 10-3-0 in the big blind, so it doesn't look like he'll be defending that one.
No.
I think this will just get through.
9 fold.
Any chance with Smith and his stack he'll move all in?
Ah,
Did
he
I
did
call it?
with the ace
I
5-0,
called it.
yeah.
Wow. Any chance? It's Dustin
3, 4,
Smith.
5 fold.
Does he have any? Let's
I mean,
see.
he could get a fold here.
He might get a fold. So he doesn't realize. He thinks that Rice has just been pretty active, but little does he know Rice has just been picking up the dukes every hand.
Yeah, he's had it, but Rice probably isn't thinking about how aggressive it's looked because, you know, he's just had hands. I doubt he's even considering that people are thinking that he's playing very aggressive yet at this point.
I think actually Rice is going to fold ace jack here. He's not necessarily priced in the call. He's not getting quite 2-to-1. What do you think? You think he's going to call or?
Trying to look at him and see what I think. He doesn't look happy about it.
You can always decide once
What
he
did he
folds or calls.
He started the hand. I think he's gonna call.
Okay.
I want him to call.
Why is that?
I just like to see showdown, all these all-in confrontations.
All-ins are fun to watch for the viewer, but not necessarily for the players.
He definitely doesn't expect to have him dominated here, I don't think.
No.
But with the price the pot's laying him, he's flipping enough against enough of his hands. He could be up against king queen suited. Oh, nope.
Look at that. He got through. Smith got through.
It was a pretty big percentage of Rice's stack to call there.
Yeah, about a 40%, a little under 40% of his stack.
He probably never in any world imagined that he was up against ace-5 off.
Guys, I want to take a moment to give a little rundown of our Player of the Year race. The winner of this event is not only going to get over $216,000, they're going to get 1,900 points on the MSPT Season 8 Player of the Year race, sponsored by Kimosabi Mezcal, and that's going to put them automatically into third place. Jason Bender is currently in second with 1,933 points. And the leader is Keith Heine, who actually made day 2 today, but did not cash. He has 2,200 points. So whoever wins this event is going to be right in the thick of things about halfway through the season.
Does this have this event applied for people that busted like
Yeah,
Bender?
so yep.
Okay.
So we're looking at the top, the Kimosabi Mezcal leaderboard right now. And that's why Bender has got 1,933. Kind of a weird, the 33 there. That's because he finished, as I mentioned earlier, runner-up in the regional event, and those are kind of like a third of the points of the main events. There's a little multipliers applied.
I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. It's amazing how after jamming all in at the ace-5 offsuit, when the Smith now gets 7s, he decides to just flat the 7s this time. And I think that's going to definitely, Scriba's definitely going to call the 10-8 of hearts in the big blind now as a result of that. There could be some cool flops with these 3 hands.
Yeah, there could be a little action here. We'll see.
Or it'll go ace-king-deuce.
Yeah, most likely it's going to come.
Ace-king-deuce, and Rice will possibly continuation bet and win the hand.
Yeah, it is interesting to see Smith shove the ace-5. I mean, maybe he thinks that he's not going to get as much credit the second hand in a row.
There's a
Cool flop.
Yeah.
Yep, a gutter ball and backdoor flush draw for Scriba with middle pair, or bottom pair, and then bottom 2 for Rice.
Rice figures a continuation bet. I can't see Smith calling. Scriba figures to at least take 1 card off to see what happens with a pair and a gut shot.
Yeah, I would expect this to go bet, fold, call from here. Maybe we can get a little hard on the turn.
Hart could definitely get a turn call.
360.
So he's going with the bigger bet sizing here as well. Half pot. Little over even.
1 folds.
That's a flop that brings a lot of possibilities. So with bottom 2, I mean, you love the flop, but you're also not super comfortable with it.
No, there's so many turn cards he's going to hate. Any 10 or jack, a queen, a club, even an ace or king makes up bigger 2 pairs.
Scriba's in an interesting spot here after he bets 360K with only 1.9 million. How much of your stack do you want to just call and then...
6 folds.
Okay, yep. he
We
just
were wrong. We were
folds.
both wrong. We definitely thought he was going to take 1 off.
But the bigger bet might have been what
him
resulted
off.
in the fold, yeah.
So we have less than 3 minutes to go with this blind level. 40,000. We'll shortly be going to the 50,000, 100,000 blind level, and that'll probably push some of these shorter stacks to start pressing the all-in button a little bit more. And the bigger stacks will get dwindled down a little bit.
Yeah, I would expect for a little while here the bigger stacks will be picking up small pots until the smaller stacks have to make a stand. Aaron hasn't gotten too involved since the very beginning lately.
What do we have here? We have Myers, who's definitely going to raise ace-jack here,
Or
and
no. That's a big one. Big one. Sorry.
who's he going to get action from? Rice will, I think Rice will defend the king-5 of clubs in the big blind. You?
Yeah, I think he will, depending on the opening size, which is 175. So, yeah, I think he'll go ahead and call here as well.
Folds. Seat 6.
See another post flop pot, hopefully.
6 folds.
I don't think we've seen any just 3-bets that weren't shoves yet to this point.
The ace-5 offsuit a few seconds ago.
That weren't he
Oh,
shoved.
that
though,
weren't
yeah,
shoves?
yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. Myers 3-bet the 6-5 of hearts.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Check. Deception.
So Myers will probably be checking back here. What do you think?
I think it's true 50-50. I would not make a prediction. I would not be betting one way or the other.
Well, he checked back the ace-9 on 9-5-5 2 diamond.
Yeah. Little as you know, he hit. He got 3 outer here on the turn, but
Probably same action repeats here.
Yeah.
Check. I wonder if Rice will lead river here. Let's see what it
if
is.
the river's a brick, oh, look at that. And I think he's going to check now. That the
He'll probably
checker.
check call, yeah, and lose. Myers will go on the bigger side here.
Yeah, I think Myers will bet around.
350.
I think it's a little high. I'll
Okay.
say, let's see, well, we're 1-1 so far. I'll lean towards 280.
That's 275.
275. All right,
you're
I'm
right
2
on the
and
nose
1.
there,
All
yeah.
right, I'm 2 and 1.
I was expecting him to go a little bigger once he made trip checks there.
Yeah, he hates the spot.
Yeah, Rice really doesn't
It
like it.
looks like he feels like he got rivers.
It's the same spot like Aaron was in earlier. Oh, he
Yeah.
calls. Same spot Aaron was in earlier with the 7-8, where what does he check down all the way to that point and then go for value on the river with?
Exactly.
Blinds are up to 50 and 100. 10,000.
So Myers, who came in this final table with just under 2.7 million, has nicely worked himself up to about 3.5 right now, and he is actually in 3rd place, behind Massey and behind Shanahan.
Yeah, that 6-5 of hearts 3-bet you were talking about just a little bit ago. That really opened things up for him. You know, that got him to a nice point with his stack where he might be able to do some more things with it later, rather than just folding and slowly dwindling down. He's looking to be aggressive and take some spots and pick up some chips. Kings and queens here.
Wow,
this
look
hand.
at this.
There
We are
is
definitely
ace
going to be
jack
getting
as
all.
well.
Oh, ace jack.
That's
Well,
a
he won't get
small blind.
involved.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's gonna fold.
More is he going to just open shove?
Oh
or is he
yeah,
gonna just
more will
raise?
shove 9-15 probably.
Or is he going to get cute and just go for a really small raise?
Okay, looks like that's what he's going for. I like it
Yeah.
with the kings. He's way more likely to get some
Actually,
action.
he bet
here.
on the bigger side. It looks like, didn't he?
235.
Yeah, that's the. We
I
haven't seen
think-
anyone raise that big.
But did they go up to 100K yet or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
There's no way Screeb is not doubling him up
Yeah.
unless he gets there. I think all the queens are live. Yeah, it's just the final table's not gone Screeb's way so far. Nothing he's done really wrong. Just sometimes that's how the cards go. Sometimes.
Yeah, that was a bad flop for him with ace.
Wow, and he
and-
flatted the queens.
Well,
So you might not end up doubling up if an ace or a king appears on that flop, but
a lot of the aces and kings are gone. I would expect the flop is most likely going to be pretty clean for queens here.
And I don't know if you saw, that was pretty interesting. Rice just folded the ace jack out of the small blind.
Yeah, that was interesting. Good fold by him.
Wow. Is there any way he's still can avoid the doubling him up?
Is that the ace of spades? It's hard to see the cards. They haven't come
I
up
see a
yet.
picture card, I think.
Jack
Jack
of
6 did
spades,
it. Now
okay.
he's doubling him up.
Yeah.
Check.
Wow, and more check kings.
That's 250.
Here they go. Check raise all in. Bet 250. He's got 680.
All
Yeah.
in?
Yeah.
He's gonna call with queens and not be happy about it.
But both queens are alive.
Yeah, it's been really bad luck for Scriba so far here.
Yeah. Oh, we got a
Another
sweaty
paint
night.
card. Yeah.
Wrong paint.
Yeah.
He needs a paint diamond, paint spade.
No luck for Scriba.
And look at that. The ace jack he fold. If he,
Oh,
if
yeah,
he,
ace
if he
jack,
calls out
yeah.
a small blind, he would have. That would have been really interesting if he would have taken a flop. There could have been a lot more. There could have been a lot more action
I
there.
wonder if he would have ended up folding the flop with ace jack, depending how it played out. Anyways, you know.
Yeah, he wouldn't have checked kings. I think he would have just led on the flop and then queens either re-raises or.
Yeah.
But he's still gonna have a difficult decision with
Hard
ace
to
jack.
say what would happen. Yeah.
see the blinds are now 50,000, 100,000, level 30 of this tournament. Still plenty of chips in play there. You see it Aaron Massey's still the chip leader with 41 bigs.
And like,
It could be a late night, gentlemen.
yeah, and like we said, to his left now, Scott Scriba, who came in the final table second on chips, as for him, unfortunately fallen to the short stack, but he still has a little over 9 bigs. We'll see if he's going to be able to recover this or if it's just going to be a snowball. And he might go with his hand here. Aaron Massey's going to open up the king, queen of diamonds. And Scriba just might be like, he might just go all in with deuces here. It'll be interesting to see if Aaron figures the call in, I think.
I was just telling my buddy Farm Boy that he probably shouldn't shove deuces with no fold equity. You happen to be the one who raised that hand.
Yeah.
So I would hope to see him fold deuces here, but I wouldn't blame him against the chip leaders open. To get it in.
I think he's obviously tilted. This final table's not going to
Yeah,
how he
it
predicted.
went horrible. Okay, yep, he's all in. And he's going to be in a flip for his life. Aaron's going to call.
Aaron's getting 2-1. I think Aaron will do the math and he'll call.
7 folds.
But a lot of diamonds are out, so I don't know how many kings and queens we missed that were out.
8, 9 fold.
If Aaron were to fold this, by the way, I think it's because Aaron believes he's got such a big... I think Aaron thinks he probably has a bigger edge on this, that he doesn't want to gamble unnecessarily. But again, I think he'll do the math and he'll realize he just can't fold here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would bet that he's calling here. Just taking his time and thinking about it. He's not happy about it. Looks like he's content with playing smaller pots. He would prefer that, it seems.
Because it looks like if he were to call and lose the spot, he will fall to 3rd place, I think, but I'm not certain. We'll have to see what the updated chip counts will be afterwards.
Yeah, I think king queen suited is just too good to fold here too.
Ooh, he's
It looked like he was
folding.
gonna fold, yeah. If he folds here, that just shows he's really looking for more low variance spots.
Yeah, he wants to pick up small spots and not get involved in marginal spots. Wow, that's
Okay.
strong.
And when I said deuces with no fold equity, that wasn't the case. He did have a smart. That's what I was telling.
I just have too much gamble in me when I'm getting 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Farm
I'm
Boy.
not a fan of folding when I get 2-1.
I was surprised Farm Boy did not get through you with the queen nine of spades versus deuces there. You opened under the gun, right?
Yeah, it looked like a big hand for me.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to. That means his shove should be stronger.
Exactly.
But you're getting a really good price. But
It turned out I had the best hand.
yeah. Well,
I think my equity was about
best
51. Yeah,
percentage.
my a little stronger than 50% with the queen nine of spades.
That's two shoves that were like on the more aggressive side that both got through, the ace 5-0 and the deuces. That's the thing about these final tables. When there's big pay jumps, people are less likely to call off shoves. Like if that was early in the tournament for either one of those, I think the ace jack and the king queen would have called.
I agree. I completely agree. Shanahan picking up 2 9s in the button. Chances are it'll get folded to Moore, who will definitely defend the ace deuce of clubs.
Moore snap folded the 5s before, but that was for his entire stack.
Yeah.
We'll see if he played his big blind tight that time, but ace deuce suited here. We'll see how he goes about it.
Yeah, finally has a few chips after doubling up with 2 kings, so he figures to take a flop here.
How long until the blinds go up? Where do we see that at?
I say when the clock pops up, it will say, I think they just went up, we're still probably about 30 minutes out.
Okay, he does defend
you
with
go.
ace deuce of clubs.
Yeah, we got 32 more
Okay.
minutes and
Yep.
so. Let's see what's a cool flop.
Check.
That's not a cool flop.
Not much gonna happen here. Check, bet, fold, most likely.
175.
I've been wrong a few times already, though, so.
Fold.
Well, that wasn't one of your better predictions. So we got to be honest.
I went out on a limb there.
I know you're 1-2 against me now, but you know. I'm sure we got plenty more. We'll be on the opposing side of.
I could have seen the 9s checking back sometimes there, but
He could have easily checked behind.
yeah, there's a lot of bad turn cards for him, and against the opponent that he was against might sway his decision what he's going to do there more often. If he feels like Moore's going to
I'll try.
hold a
Yeah,
little
I'll
tighter
try.
and let him know.
You're gonna have to keep.
You might
looking at me.
just go ahead and bet there a little more often.
I am, but I actually usually when I'm shuffling with my left, I'm shuffling with both. So.
That's a really hard ask, man.
Yeah.
Trying to save you from carpet tunnel.
Yeah. Right.
That is a really hard ask. I don't think I could
3 folds.
just unpack.
Yes. It's
Massey with King Queen again. Myers with Ace Jack on the button.
On like a wooden table.
Raise.
4s in the big blind. I think that this will go 3 ways to the flop.
It seems that way. Well, any chance Screamer moves all in here?
6 folds. 7 folds.
We've seen Myers 3-bet the 5-6 suited, but I think with Ace Jack here on the button, I think he's going to go ahead and just call, especially against Aaron, who has more chips than him.
But we'll see. But Smith, who jammed the Ace 5 off, who flatted 7s, what will he do with 4s this time? Assuming that Myers just calls Ace Jack.
Yeah, I guess that is another option. He could shove with the 4s. And it might work if he does, the way things have went so far.
Call.
So what's he gonna do? Is he gonna move all in, or is he gonna just call?
Looks like
Oh,
call.
it's too late.
Looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
call,
yeah. Once we see the way the chips are going, predictions are moot.
And these guys have a lot of history with each other at this point in the tournament, I'm sure, too, so that might change.
Oh, and Myers is gonna
Yeah.
be doubling up Smith here.
Yep, Jack 8-4, just a dream flop for Smith.
Check.
Wow,
Massey
and
doesn't
Matt-
lose any more chips.
No, not at all. And Myers will not be checking this flop.
Very disciplined by Aaron just to check and give up right there.
I agree. Yeah, looks like things were going really good for Myers at this point, but nothing I can see how he's gonna not double him up.
He's cut out calling chips, but I think with what he has behind, he might just shove here. What do you think?
I lean towards a shove. You?
Yeah, I would shove too, but calling is just going to look a little fishy here. There we go. Looks like that's what he's doing. Yep, he's all in. Aaron folds.
And I think he's gonna call right away.
Yeah, he's not even going to... He's getting a count just
He-
to make sure,
yeah,
but he'll call
definitely,
pretty
definitely
quickly.
calling.
Yeah.
I would lay 10-1 that he's calling. 60. He's getting 3.5 to 1 on his money.
Yeah, I would not even take 10-1. I think he's for sure calling as well. Yeah, there we go.
Call.
Is there gonna be a sweat? No sweat.
sweat.
No sweat. Maybe an anticlimactic ace on the river. Oh, look at that! I called it. I called it an anticlimactic ace on the river. The Mason often that seems to happen.
Yeah, just rub it in.
Yeah,
rub it in a little
great. I
bit.
made top 2. And now Smith, who came in to this with meme stack, who got himself short, now finds himself on the upper side of things at this final table, about 2.8 million.
Yeah, chips have been moving at this point for sure.
These guys are battling out first place for getting paid well north of 200,000. Getting paid about $216,829 this tournament.
Nobody's at a point where
Could
they...
anybody have seen that 5-6 years ago? First place eventually being $216,000 here.
Yeah, and in the middle of Michigan, in the Midwest, it's amazing. MSPT draws a crowd, and this room does a great job. They run a lot of satellites, and that helps the field size as well.
FireKeepers done a fantastic job running satellites throughout the years in order to get both for their May and October tournaments.
I heard something along the lines of there were 3,000 entries in the $65 satellites, leading up to the main event here. And like you said, FireKeepers runs them far enough in advance, and that's a lot, 3,000. So 20% of those advance to the 250 qualifiers, and then of course 20% of them get into the main event.
Yeah, so that's 120 players just off the buy-ins to the $65 satellites.
And that's, I mean, and it can be done. $65 into $216,000. I can speak for the first tournament I ever played in my life in 2005. I turned $140. $140 into $235,000.
Yeah, you hear those stories a lot where you.
And now you guys have to deal with me all the time as a result of that.
Looks like Scott Scriba won in a satellite, as well as Daniel Panoni. So those are just the two that listed it on their sheets. Some people like to leave it blank. And those are the two guys involved in this hand.
Yeah, I was playing in the satellite with, I believe it's Rice, and so he got in a satellite too, but I think he had already played the main previously to that satellite. Shanahan's quietly become the chip leader.
I mean, if you would have just flagged the ace jack, he could have been a really big chip leader. He might have just gone with a three-way there with the top pair, top kicker. But we'll never know. Looks like we have an ace jack or queen jack suited here. Could see a...
5 folds.
The
I
queen
think
jack suited already fold?
I'm not sure. I think it was it Rice that had the ace jack?
Yeah, under the gun? Oh. Looks like Myers is going to look back down the dreaded ace jack that just cost him about a third of his stack. I don't think that's going to... I think he'll still happily raise.
Yeah, I don't think that'll
I don't
affect
think-
his decision this
Not
time.
at all, not at all. I think he'll get through this, and nobody really looks like they have a hand to defend.
Full fold. 3 folds. 4 folds.
So after losing a player on the second hand, we've stalled out at 9 for a while here.
Wow, and the Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavs tonight.
So we won't be seeing two 12-0 teams playing in
Oh
the
my
finals.
gosh,
then.
that really
12-0
happened?
in the playoffs. They just get blown out twice at home and then go win one on the road, huh?
Cleveland was up by 16 at halftime. They must have just taken the foot off the metal saying these guys are giving up. Apparently not.
I didn't catch any of that game, but definitely surprising. Cleveland having a big halftime lead and Boston coming back to win.
Wow.
So Rice is opening the king-queen here.
220.
And again, not really any hands that can really challenge him here.
8-9 fold.
Do you think Aaron might defend the 7-5 offsuit here?
He defended the 7-8-0.
3-4 fold.
I think he's probably just going to fold here.
Yeah, I agree.
Looks like he might get involved.
This one shocked me. I was playing with Aaron earlier, and he saw me defending every big blind in sight too earlier, even when he was raising.
So, of course, Aaron's now, since he saw you defending earlier, he's,
Nah, yeah.
he's starting to defend.
5 fold.
We don't like to fold our big blinds.
Yeah, that's Conrad always says that.
I'm sorry, who says that?
Conrad. Chris Conrad.
Chris. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know Conrad all too well. I think he might be staying where I'm staying at for a few weeks this summer.
I think we just locked up a condo, actually. I don't know how recently you talked to him.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought he was. I knew he wasn't going to be a full-time resident where I was staying at, but
Yeah.
I thought that was a possibility.
Yeah, we're splitting a condo out there starting 25th. Yeah. So,
Well, speaking of Las Vegas, it's a good opportunity to plug our next event in about 2 weeks, MSPT Venetian, which is going to be a bigger field than this one. It's got a $2.5 million guarantee. It runs from June 5th through the 9th. There'll be 3 starting flights, noon each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be a big event. The past 3 years, I think we go. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, growing exponentially. Over 2,800 runners last year. I'm not going to be surprised to see it go over 3,000 this year. It's going to be a good event.
I definitely think it's going over 3,000 runners.
Yeah, I think it will too. I'll be there playing it for sure.
I keep telling Brian every year, I mean, you need to plan this around my schedule. I have to play my mixed game tournaments first. When do you need to, Brian, you need to schedule this event not around the horse in the 8 game and the dealer's choice tournaments. Think of me. You're trying to be happy to all your people that support this event. Think of Adam Friedman.
We saw Pannoni fold the ace-8 suited versus the open. The opener had king-queen. One of the third hand he shoved ace-4 over an open, so now he's got a little more chips. He's a little more comfortable being patient, it seems. I think Moore's going to fold here, I would expect. Yeah.
Lucarelli, he really hasn't been involved too many pots. I think he might finally get involved here.
Yep, this might be his chance. Let's see what happens. I think he's going to raise and win the pot.
4's all in.
Oh, he just moved all in. Yeah,
he
okay,
shoved,
that'll definitely
okay.
win the pot. Yeah, 15.
I think we're at 100K big blind now, right?
Yeah, so he's got
Okay.
about 15 big
Yeah.
blinds.
5 fold. 6, 7 fold. Thanks, guys. Good.
Yeah, that's Lucarelli's first pot here at this final table, but I think everyone's grabbed at least one pot by now, right? That's still in? Pretty certain.
Yeah, I think so.
So everyone's gotten their feet wet. Nerves are out the window.
Rice has the highest VPIP on the screen we're looking here, but he's had the hands
He's
too.
by far had the best hands.
Yep.
Kings, queens, ace-jack, king, queen about 3 or 4 times. The hands have completely dictated what he's played so far.
Yeah, I would have guessed based off their hands, Myers or Aaron have been the most aggressive at this point, but Rice has just gotten involved in more hands because he's had the hands.
Yep. All right. We got Moore's picked up 2 8s here under the gun plus
Massey's
1.
got 7s in the cutoff. This should be interesting. And Rice has the 7-8, so don't see many sets coming.
No, very unlikely.
10 raises 225,000.
So he's opening off of 17 bigs. Looks like Smith is getting involved
Wow.
with the queen jack.
That's surprising.
I don't know what Aaron would have done versus the first open, but I think now that it's 3 ways, I think he's going to call.
Yeah, definitely just
Yeah.
call.
Five calls.
I would expect it just goes 3 ways here.
Wow, is
6 folds.
tough.
7 folds.
Not much to work with from the button or the blinds.
Nope. So probably the most likely thing for action would be
3 players.
what, a 7 or 8 with a queen jack.
Queen jack's a big favorite with the 7 and 8 being folded already.
Of course. Of course, you still got to hit the flop probably to win it.
And nobody hits anything.
No, I think
I would expect more to bet.
Yeah, I think more will bet and Massey will call. And Aaron's going to remember that last time when he had 2 kings, he checked. So he's going to think that he actually is probably ahead when he leads out this time.
Yeah,
So Massey will definitely not be folding here on the flop.
It's a lot different board texture and 3 ways, so the kings is a little different, but yeah, Aaron's probably thinking about that. He's taking everything in as he's sitting here. And yep, looks like he's reaching for calling chips.
5 calls.
Not much of a scare card for either player on the turn.
A potential sweat. They both got a 3-spotter with a 3-sider with a 6.
Yeah. It's the only 3 spotters that doesn't improve both of their hands.
I think this is going to go check here. You?
10 shows.
Yeah, I think so as well. Aaron's looking what he has behind. I think he's going to eventually check back also. I think he would expect to just win if he bets right here, which I don't know if that'll happen or not.
5's all in.
Oh, he shoved.
Wow, that's surprising.
He shoved.
I mean, I think he believes he's definitely jamming the best hand.
Yeah, I don't think it's for value really. I think it's just to win the pot with what's out there. The guy only has 1.1 million, and there was decent amount in the pot already. And I think Moore's gonna fold. What do you think?
I agree. I'd like to be 3-1 against you, but I don't disagree.
There was a flush draw on the flop, and yep, Aaron actually ends up getting the I guess we'll call it a bluff. There wasn't a bluff. I don't think,
but he wasn't bluff. He thought he had the best.
But it ended up being a bluff, a successful one.
And he remembered that because when he had the kings, he saw. I guarantee Aaron paid attention to the fact that he checked kings last time.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
On a low board.
Yeah, it was Jack 6 deuce rainbow or
Yeah.
something. I think that time.
So him leading, I think, indicated to me he thinks he had ace king, ace queen, something in that range. Something very marginal.
Yeah, I think Aaron definitely thought he had the best hand there and was just ready to protect his hand and win what was in the pot.
Yeah, it might have gone different if he had checked if he had led the 2 kings instead of checked the kings last time. Aaron might not have moved all in there. Pinot was sitting about 10 bigs. You think he'll jam the queen 9 of diamonds in early position here?
I do not think so.
I think he's just from the look he's going to do it, and I was leaning towards that. Oh, good, that's good. I thought that was too late to say.
think
I would have.
Aaron's gonna open and probably just win this pot, huh?
Yep.
5 raises are 225. 6 fold. 7 fold. 8 fold. 9 fold.
I've already been asked by quite a few players when the MSPT is going to be coming back to FireKeepers. They're already looking forward to the next main event. They're going to have to wait, though. We're not coming back until October, the weekend of, I think it's the 14th and 15th for the 2017 Michigan State Poker Championship. People are asking me, is it going to be bigger than this one? And it's possible for sure, but it's hard for me to imagine, man. This is over 1,000 runners here. Just still blows my mind.
You see, now this is brutal. I mean, Brian, he's just not thinking of me. I mean, my sister's getting married on that weekend.
Well, she should change it.
She probably should. I'll talk to her about it tomorrow.
I think Brian will change the whole thing for you.
So that he doesn't do the Venetian stop. When is he going to think about me?
I'm surprised he doesn't consult with you first before he
Brian,
puts these things together.
Next time you put your schedule together, talk to me first.
Shoot him a text.
Yeah.
What do you got going on this weekend?
So Scriba's just going to shove here, probably, and... Oh, did he 3-bet? Okay. 3-bet to 500k with 14 bigs. That looks really, really strong.
I agree. I don't think
Well, he wasn't going to get action either way, but...
7 fold.
But I think if Lucarelli was sitting there with 9s where he might have called the shove, he might fold to this.
I agree.
10 fold.
be effective to use as a bluff, but when you have queens, I think you just, I guess you're supposed to balance it, but I think with 14 bigs when somebody opened, you should almost always just be shoving if you're re-raising. He picks up the pot though. Things have took a turn for the better for him. He got the shove through with deuces, and now he got the 3-bet through with queens. He's heading back in the right direction. We do have a couple players at 10 bigs and below now.
Yeah, Moore and Pannone are going to be looking for spots here in order to try to get their money in, because they said the blinds will be going up here, I think, in about 10 minutes.
They're probably both hoping the other one would bust at some point, but
Ideally, the difference between 8th and 7th place is about a little shy of about $4,000.
ninth and eighth, right?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, 9th and 8th are about $4,000.
yeah, and this is a
And speaking of, Moore picked up a hand. Moore has got jacks.
okay. His money will be going in.
And
This is a big tournament. These pay jumps are huge.
yeah.
So
For a lot of these people, where almost for the majority of these players, wherever they finish here, it's going to be their highest payday they've ever had.
yeah, the local players, if they don't go places and play, they've probably never played a tournament that pays this much.
Yeah.
6 fold. 7 fold.
Myers might try to still here on the button, even with 3 deuce offsuit. I don't think it's
I don't.
impossible.
I think he's just gonna fold.
I think
with,
he's gonna raise.
with the 9.5 big blind
Okay.
stack.
You're right. And look at it.
Smith is just gonna fold to the shove here, unless Moore gets tricky. If he limps, then Smith might shove.
10's all in.
Looks like they're going in. Now, I mean, King 7 is closer against.
Against a small blind.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't automatically be a snap fold in that spot. It should at least be thought out.
But
Because
you know,
against a lot of people, King 7's above a lot of people's ranges.
like I said, these guys have history with each other though, and he probably feels that King 7's not doing well there. And he would have been correct. So now we have the button with somewhat short stack and the big blind with a somewhat short stack as well. So see what happens in front of him.
4 fold. 5 fold.
I think Pannone might end up going with the ace-8 in the big blind here. If Scriba opens, or if anyone opens. Earlier in the final table, he was the small blind with ace-4 and went with it. So he might not get any action though.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be up to Smith. My guess is Smith is going to limp and then fold when Pannone jams.
I
Or
9 raises to 2.
I think
Myers, who
Myers
okay, so I wasn't that far off when Myers folded 3 deuce off before, but now
Yeah.
he's raising 10-6 off in the
Okay.
cutoff. So I think it was actually surprising he folded 3 deuce off. Now it's going to be up Pannone to see
I
if-
wouldn't have expected him to open this one either. Because now instead of one shove stack behind him, there's 2. And Pannone has been willing to get it in with you know, ace-4, whereas Moore hadn't really been. So I would have opened the last hand before I opened this one. But I don't mind aggression at any moment, you know.
And he's just going to count. He's going to fold here.
Yeah. Trying to save face when you're folding to a less than 10 big blind shove
Yeah,
after opening.
I must be one of the few people when I raise and I know I'm folding. I know what the price is. I just fold right away. I don't care. I don't put on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna Hollywood for very long. If I'm playing way too aggressively, I might try to make it look like I'm not playing as aggressively by doing something like that. Probably doesn't really even work. It's more of a waste of time. But he didn't take very long. He mucked pretty quickly.
And Matthews, the chip leader, is when he folded the king queen earlier. It looks like this is part of the reason why he didn't want to call in with king queen. If he wanted to protect this chip lead and wait for spots where he knows he can pick up smaller pots, as opposed to what he in his mind gambling with a hand like king queen when he just feels he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him fold that. It was probably, I mean, 25% of your chips is a lot, so I understand. But I would have expected to see him be willing to gamble for that first 25%, you know, especially with a hand like king queen suited there.
Yeah. So Smith raises and Lucarelli, I definitely believe will be moving all in here. I don't think there's any scenario in which he doesn't.
Yep, he already did. Smith is probably going to fold, I would guess. You know, there's that idea if I have an ace on the button, he might not believe me. But for 1.2 million more when you have 2 million left, I think it's too much your stack. I think he's going to fold.
I agree. We need to stop agreeing. We need to start just improving our. See, we need to disagree more.
All right, I'll try to get that going. Let's.
You should act like LeVar Ball. Just says something that's completely outrageous and completely just out there.
You want me to be the villain here? Okay, I could do that.
Well, I'm normally the villain in most circles, so you know,
right.
it'd be nice if I can play the nice guy role. Or if it's LeVar Ball versus, well, I don't want to get political, so I'm not going to say names.
Yeah, let's avoid
Yeah,
that.
who's considered the bad guy in some circles? Looks like we have a bunch of
garbage, yeah.
All right, I will go on. All right, I'm going to make a prediction here. I say everybody folds to Massey.
I'll disagree.
If Lucarelli limps in out of the small blind, does that count?
That would be me winning. You said everybody's going to fold.
I didn't even see the king 7 off in the small blind. If I had seen that, I would not have said that. But since I said it,
Okay. There's the limp.
yeah, I did see the
Mark
king
one
7.
up for the villain.
Yeah, I thought I kept seeing 10-4 off and 6-3 off. I'm like, all right, he'll definitely fold those. All right, but I say Aaron raises here.
5 checks.
I'll disagree.
Oh, no, you can't. No prediction after the fact.
I think Aaron's going to win the pot. I haven't seen the flop yet.
Yeah,
Oh.
oh, look at that.
4 bets 125.
All right, Lucarelli going for a little stab. Like I said, I played with him earlier today. He was playing very solid.
Yeah.
Wasn't on a
was
line,
well
picked the
played.
spots well.
The limping range from the small blind is going to include a lot of hands that connect with queen, jack, deuce, you know? So,
Hit the queen jack much more than the deuce.
obviously, yeah. I wouldn't have been super surprised if he gave Aaron a walk there, even with a king 7, king high, you know, just chip leader. Aaron's a great player.
But king deuce off, he might have folded.
Yeah. Looks like we're up to,
I think we're still 51.
oh, maybe he's just got different chip
This is gonna mean
denominations in there.
Oh, okay, never mind. Rice picked up 7s. I didn't see that. Otherwise, Scriba might have gone broke here because I don't think Aaron was going to fold ace jack of diamonds, blind versus blind to ace 10.
7 raises to 220.
I would expect Aaron to flat this, and then Scriba will have a tough decision.
I
with
think
ace 10 in the big blind.
Scriba will just call.
Yeah, I would
10 fold.
probably agree with that.
3 and 4 fold.
If he does shove,
Wow, it's Massey right away folding ace jack of diamonds.
he was small blind there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if Aaron was any position other than the small blind, he would not have folded right there.
All right, and Scriba is defending the ace 10. Let's see what the flop brings.
Oh, man.
Wow. And Aaron,
Good thing Aaron avoided this spot, yeah.
yep. Aaron somehow loses nothing here.
And
It's going to be pretty...
Aaron not being in the hand makes things tougher for Skriba, too, you know?
I agree. Will Skriba just call?
7 bets, 180.
Wow, see, he's been on the real small side. I like this bet size.
This is an interesting decision for Skriba. I think against a bigger bet, he would have been more likely to do something other than call. Against this bet, he's, yeah. Oh,
Oh, you're
he
right.
check raised, yep. And now, I guess maybe he's check raising to see where he's at here, and he might get away from it.
You think Rice will just call, or you think he'll re-raise?
I think he'll just call, and then I guess we'll see what Skriba will do.
The classic tell, I have a set. Let me double check. All right, the nut straight or nut flush. Let me double check. And I wonder if Rice is going to pick up. I'm sorry, Skriba is going to pick up on that. Usually when you double check your cards, you always have the nuts.
This is going to be a really tough spot for Skriba on the turn if Rice just calls here, which he most likely will. But what is he calling here with when you check raise?
Most hands
top,
that I think.
top pair at worst, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Oh,
And now it won't
it's-
matter. Wow, Massey just somehow loses nothing here.
Yeah.
Did Massey just fold pre-flop?
He folded ace jack of diamonds
in
on the small blind.
yeah. He's a genius.
I mean, that's a bad card in that you can't really get away from it, but he does have 5 outs now on the river.
Yeah, it's good. It doesn't change a lot about what you're losing to and what you're winning against. It changes nothing, actually. Or I guess 7-5 is the only hand that it changes against. But does give him some outs now.
And if he calls here, I think Aaron's thinking, I don't get it. What do these guys have? I had ace jack.
He'll see soon enough.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to go all in right here. He bet 500k with 700k behind. And then Skriba's going to cry and call it off.
I think he's going to just call. You know what? I'm taking that back. I think it's 50. Either way, I don't have a prediction here. Dang it, I should have
Should've stuck with it, yeah.
I have no conviction.
But like his hand right now is
And
down
the
the
king he
river
doesn't.
changes
He did
nothing.
not make ace king.
It's bad luck for Skriba at this table.
I mean, but don't the red flags are all there? The warning bells have to be going off in his head.
Yeah, Skriba probably he checks.
He
Yeah,
checks.
I don't think he's gonna be able to find a fold, but you have to know your beat here. Yeah, I mean, any hand that calls twice and then bets river here has
I
to.
still believe he's calling.
Yeah,
I still believe he's calling.
there's 2.4 million in the pot. He's got 700k left. It's gonna be really hard to get away with it, but he's gonna hate it. I would be very impressed if he finds a fold. And Rice is, I mean, like, if he's paying attention, yeah.
7's all in.
So, I don't think Rice even has 6-8 of spades or 8-9 of spades here or anything like that. I think he just, yeah, he called.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That was
I
just-
mean, he in the back of his head, he's got to know, but you still can't really get rid of it.
Yeah, it was just a really unfortunate.
I'm trying to see if Aaron has a reaction to folding his ace jack here.
Yeah, I didn't see anything from Aaron.
No.
Really unfortunate sequence of events at this table for Skriba, but still an excellent run by him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little bit disappointed. Just came in second. But this happens to all of us at one point or another. You know, Scott Skriba, student out of Mason, who plans on going to the World Series of Poker this summer. Again,
First MSPT cash.
exactly, cashing for $18,276. Congratulations on your first cash. Your first cash is better than most.
Yeah, it was a great run and nice little boost for the upcoming WSOP. Give him some buy-ins. I know he was expecting or hoping for more, but still an excellent run by him.
Yeah, when you're out there, we recommend you play in those the MSPT at Venetian, and if you know, after that's done, play more mixed game tournaments with me this summer. We want to see bigger numbers for the mixed game
when you
events.
talked to me
Mixed
at,
game more
Florida,
fun.
I didn't realize what you
At
were
least at the
saying
World's,
about
at least
being
at the Rio.
So if I wasn't
Because the best no limit event
fine.
all summer is quite probably the Venetian MSPT with 3,000 runners.
But I didn't, I just like
That'll probably get the most people of any $1,000 field this summer, won't it?
Hey, I've been long saying that MSPT Venetian deserves some recognition. As just a, I don't know, if the American Poker Award still had a 1,500 or below event of the year or what have you, it should at least be in consideration, because it's exciting for not only for players in Vegas, that are out there that are just going to play it because it's a 2.5 million guarantee. For players in the Midwest, that's, for some of them, that's their Vegas main event. They can't afford
Absolutely.
$10,000 to go play the WSOP main event, so they come out for a weekend in Vegas and play.
Yeah, it's a $1 billion but wow, surprisingly, Dustin Smith moving in for $2 million with. It was with sevens.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
more, okay.
I'm sorry. More moved
all
on.
in.
That was that's
Yeah, I would say that
action
was-
tracker error on MSPT Eric's part, but he's corrected it,
Yeah.
and it looks like the shove's going to get through.
And
Yeah.
we're up to 120K big blind now, so that was about 9 big blinds he shoved with sevens. He made the
Yeah.
correct play and got it through.
As we can see here, blinds are 60, 120,000.
I think all the MSPT regulars really look forward to that MSPT at the Venetian. That's a great event.
I really like it as a reporter who has worked the MSPT now for a season and a half and spent 6 years with Poker News all around the world. Just seeing those two worlds collide, so to speak. These my MSPT players now fighting against a lot of Europeans that come and play. A lot of the bigger name poker pros, some former WSOP main event champions come and give it a whirl. So to be able to see a Jim Boone take on a Carlos Mortensen or something like that, it's just two totally opposite types of people battling out in a game that we all love.
And speaking of here, this will be interesting. I think Lucarelli was sitting about 15 big blinds. I think Lucarelli's going to jam sevens, and Rice will call with ace king.
But what about these deuces?
And deuces are going to fold, I think.
Nope. Nah, if he jammed ace five, I don't think he's folding.
Oh,
But I think Lucarelli's going to come over the top for all in. You?
raised to 325K, so almost
It's a very big
almost
result.
3x.
Maybe he might not know.
Oh, I don't really like that, guys. I don't know.
What, the size?
Well, I don't like the size necessarily either, but I don't necessarily like the fold right there with sevens. I don't know, when somebody raises so big like that, I tend to just think they're trying to protect a weaker hand. I like sevens in that spot, and I don't know. Lucarelli's also the player who folded ace-queen to a single raise earlier, if I'm not mistaken. I just like to see it opened up a little bit. Yeah. But it's probably...
It's the pay jumps, big pay
yeah,
jumps.
Yeah, it's the pay jumps, and now he doesn't. He would have ended up flipping against Rice by the looks of it.
Rice was getting a count on Shanahan. Just looks like he's considering just going all in if Shanahan had less. But with as much as Shanahan has, he's probably going to just 3-bet.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take the chance that Shanahan accidentally wakes up with aces or kings.
And Shanahan obviously doesn't have a decision, but I do like that by Rice to just make sure see exactly what he's dealing with next to him, even though that player wasn't involved in the pot.
Lucarelli, it looks like he's got a little smile there. He looks like, wow, look what I avoided.
Yeah. From 325 to 850. Oh,
wow, do not like that play.
Well, it's he's going to get into a flip.
Smith has to know that he's just never re-raised in the league. I think he's incredibly fortunate that he's up against ace king, because I don't know if Rice would have done that with ace queen.
Maybe you don't really know what's going through their mind, but maybe the sizing of it might have led him to believe that he had ace king. I mean, he's probably not just putting in deuces there because he's got deuces,
Yeah. Look at this. He's just one card away from becoming maybe a top 2 or top 3 in chips here, Smith.
This would be very fortunate for Smith.
Oh, ace on the river.
Barry Greenstein shows up.
Ouch. We all know that pain.
That would have...
river card drown in your hopes.
You guys have experienced that? See, I didn't think this really happened in real life. I've heard stories about people just losing potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars to one card.
How
You
was
guys
that?
just must be unlucky human beings.
Another good finish, another good run by Dustin Smith.
Yeah, congratulations! His third MSPT cash. He actually the second of his 3 caches here are both at FireKeepers, and he also cashed in the Poker Bowl in Venetian this past February. Bought in directly. Congratulations on the run here, Dustin Smith out of Middleville. Well done. And something tells me if you were at the Poker Bowl in the Venetian in February, we'll probably see you next month.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see him out there. That would have been quite the swing pot there. That really was. Rice, he would have probably been quite frustrated if he ended up doubling up deuces right there in that spot.
Yeah, I think Lucarelli would have been sitting there thinking, "Wow, my 7s were just
Yeah.
golden there."
A 7 didn't show up. I didn't pay too much attention. No?
Yeah, no, I do not believe a 7 came up. But I think with that pot, Rice is taking a pretty significant chip lead now over Massey. Rice right now sitting on 6.8 million, and Massey's still sitting there with about 4.4 million. As like I said, we're still over here, and
Out of me, so like good game.
yeah, as you guys can see here, Rice is just taking a pretty significant chip lead, and we'll see if he can put those chips to use and start pounding on the stacks that are right beneath him, and pressure them in, like you said, towards some ICM situations here.
Yeah, with 7 left now, we go from the $4,000 pay jumps up to the $8,000 pay jumps, so things are going to start getting really serious at this point.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Rice raising 7-6 of hearts, but Shanahan, he's not having anything of it. Instead of taking the more conservative, he's taking the more aggressive route. What do you think about that? Free betting the ace-9 of clubs there.
No, I don't mind it. I probably would have went a little on the bigger size with the sizing. You know, he doesn't really give Rice much of a option but to call. I mean, if Rice had a really bad hand, he would fold, but anything suited, connected like what he has, he's going to take a flop from position, which is not ideal with ace-9. It's good flop for him, though.
Yeah,
so.
Rice flops absolutely nothing. Oh,
I don't mind the check from him there. Control the pot size, and he did it so quickly, though, it didn't look like he was checking jacks or anything, so I don't think he's going to get any action from it, but...
A 9 would be an interesting card on the turn.
Oh,
he
there's a
picked on a
heart.
flush
Yeah.
draw.
Yeah, I don't mind the 3-bet from Shanahan pre-flop at all. I would have went on a little bigger sizing, though, if I was going to take that option.
Yeah, I think Rice is not going to check twice here. I think he's going to bet his flush draw. You?
I'm not sure. I think he's going to bet, too. I agree with you. I would like to see a check, but now that he's checked twice, he probably thinks he does have jacks or 10s or queens or something along there. And this is just going to be called from Shanahan, I would guess.
Yeah, I think he's going to check 100% of river cards.
And probably call almost all river cards as well. If Rice does decide to fire another barrel, let's see what happens.
If the river's a blank, do you think Rice will put another bet out?
I don't think so. Especially 6 doesn't give him any showdown value realistically, but in his mind it might change things. Like, hey, maybe I could check and win.
What's he hoping that he has though?
I think he realizes at this point he doesn't just have like jacks or queens once he calls the turn bet. So I think he's just gonna give up here. I think he thinks he probably has at least a king.
He can move all in for a pot-sized bet here. Because last time he moved all in, he showed down a full house.
What kind of hand do you think he would have that he would do that with?
Deuces could make sense.
Deuces is
I think
about
eight-
the
I think
only
eights aren't
hand that makes
impossible.
sense. I think 8s just bets the flop here all the time. Against a small line 3-bet and then check. I don't...
Well,
It looks- he's firing a
he's
big
pulling
bet.
the barrel.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think it's going to work either.
Shanahan's played this hand really well, and he actually played it this way to allow this to happen. Now he just has to pull the trigger and make the call, and he'll win a nice pot here.
And Shanahan would probably take the chip lead.
Yeah,
He's going to take it right away. Look at
Shanahan
that.
played that hand really, really well.
And look at that. After that, Rice, who was the chip leader, falls to third, and now we have a third, a new chip leader now.
And I don't blame Rice for taking a shot right there. Like I said, the 6 might change things in some people's minds because he doesn't have 7 high anymore. But realistically, he had no showdown value. So
And Shanahan, who's been pretty quiet. I mean, he came into this final table with an average stack of right around 2.3 million. When he knocked the first player out today with Ace King versus Ace Queen, but he's been pretty quiet until now.
yeah, he's just been slowly keeping along the top of the chip counts, and now he's got a nice lead.
Just a reminder, this is Chad Holloway of the MSPT here in the booth with MSPT champ, Season 4 Ho-Chunk champ, Josh Reichard, and WSOP bracelet winner, Adam Friedman, coming to you from FireKeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan. This tournament got 1,066 runners. It makes it the largest poker tournament in Michigan State history. That's a record we've set each time in our last 3 visits. But this is the first time it's been over 4 figures. It's not often, maybe not ever since I came on the MSPT, Adam, where, you know, everyone always says, when I say everyone, Brian always says, WSOP bracelet winner Chad Holloway. Now there's 2 bracelet winners in the booth, and I got to admit, your bracelet's a little more impressive than mine.
I don't know about. I mean, like I said, I'd love to win a bracelet event eventually. No Limit Hold'em. But I think I play like one No Limit event at the World Series every year.
Remind the listeners which event you won and when, and some of the details.
Yeah, I won the 5,000 7-card stud 8 or better World Championship in 2012. Some of the people that final table included Bryn Kenny, Phil Ivey, John Manetti, and then I just completely stone crushed Todd Brunson.
I remember, I was actually there. I remember Doyle was in the crowd rooting on Todd.
Yeah, Doyle actually came up to me, I think the day or 2 days later, and actually came up to me and congratulated me. Doyle's very classy act, as always. Unlike his son sometimes, who can just be a little irritating, but we all love Todd somewhat.
I got to ask, because I know a lot of listeners would want to know, what's it like to play with Phil Ivey?
Phil's the best. Phil has a presence about him that you just don't play with many players. Fortunately, that presence is sort of a little bit down when you're playing a game like 7-card stud 8 or better, but when I played with him in a couple $10,000 mixed game events at the World Series, 8-game and 10-game, playing a couple of the pot limit Omaha No Limit pots with him, you could feel it the very first time when you're playing with him. And to interrupt real quick, Shanahan, who just won the last hand with ace-jack, now gets 2 aces.
Lucarelli opened ace-jack the last hand, and he's been unfortunate to run into something almost every time he's entered a pot, but he's been able to avoid it for the most part, and now, where'd the aces go? I'm sure they're not in the muck.
The term I was trying to think that Todd was using all last summer was just he liked to incinerate everybody. That's the term I was trying to think of. So when anytime you get the chance to incinerate Todd, it's a beautiful thing when you can do that.
I think Todd is hilarious.
He's quite witty. But I did double him up on day 4 of the main event at the World Series last year. That was very hurtful.
I played with him on day 3 of the main the entire day last year also. But
So you just complaining how card dead he was?
No, not really. He didn't play that many hands, but he was still in when I got eliminated.
So Todd, if you're out there listening, I just hope to just completely soul crush and incinerate you all summer coming up. It would give me a lot of pleasure to do so.
What are the odds on Todd being listening to this? What?
I think it's small, but maybe word will get out to maybe someone might text that or tweet at Todd Brunson that we're just making fun of him up here back in the Midwest.
Yep, Adam Friedman's in here calling him out.
But Todd, don't worry. When the fantasy drafts come, I might be reluctantly drafting you, but you actually have to play really well for once, and don't give your chips away at the final table to guys like George Danzer. Don't just give it away.
So we got 6s and 8s and King Jack here. Shanahan's been on a little bit of a heater here with aggression as well. I think he'll just let go of the King Jack. Yep. Not gonna ride
He's
the
smiling.
wave.
He's like, oh, I'm getting all the big hands now. Got him to bluff off $1.5 million.
And Lucarelli's gonna shove.
I definitely.
8s.
And Rice
is gonna fold. That's my prediction.
I agree.
Rice had a really hot start, and things have taken a bad turn for him, but he's still in good shape. He's still in really good shape. So.
This is interesting. It looks like Aaron's trying to talk a little bit more towards Shanahan now, trying to warm up. Said, hey, don't be 3-betting me.
Yeah.
Let's be really friendly towards him.
He sees these 2 stacks leading to deep run against each other, and he's trying to butter them up a little bit, it seems.
Yeah.
Like to see the
I've never done that.
They know we're friends.
No. Yeah.
No, of course not.
Padres.
I'm usually pretty talkative at the table, and I would be lying if I said that wasn't one of the reasons. I'm just talkative in general, but
People think of me as more as the quiet type in general.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Chad?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
I'm the quiet type, right?
Yeah, yeah.
hence a little bit of sarcasm from the booth here.
Oh, that was sarcasm.
You're very expressive.
Eric said he
you
had a
know,
hard
you're-
time sleeping
you're-
sharing the room with you last night.
What was that?
Eric said he had a hard time sleeping sharing the room with you last night. He said you were full of chat.
I know they had a few cocktails, a couple drinks in them.
I didn't. I can't speak for Eric. I actually went down last night to and ran to a few people, had a few more drinks. I was just reading online, watching videos on YouTube.
Chad, did you partake in the cocktails last night?
I did not. I grabbed some food here with Adam and Eric after day 1C came to an end, but went back to my room, and I try not to have too many cocktails right before day 2 because these day 2s are really long for me. You know, I started this at 11 a.m. And now we're going on midnight, so that's 13 hours, and we're still, 7-handed, so then I got to break down the set afterwards. These can turn into 16, 17-hour days.
Panoni's all in. I think Lucarelli's going to isolate. Yep.
Wow,
There it
immediately.
is.
So here we go. It's gonna for
And
about
it's-
it's for about half a Lucarelli stack. So this is gonna be a big swing
Yeah,
here.
this is a swing pot. With the cards that have been folded, they're 57-43, so fair fight. Can't tell by the reactions what the flop is.
Someone smile. I think a jack or 10 hit there.
I don't know. Looks like it.
Yeah,
Looks
well,
like
I see a
jack,
4 spot and I
nine,
see a paint.
A 9 and a jack. it looks
And
like.
worst case scenario, it looks like
Queen
a gut
9
shot.
maybe. Queen 9.
Yeah, worst.
maybe.
Yeah, because you can see a 4 spot in a paint.
Okay. Another 9 is a really
Wow,
good card.
that took away
Takes
the
away the
pair outs.
jacks and 10s, yeah.
So he's
Good
got
card
the
for
open-ended
Lucarelli.
straight, needs a king or an 8 on the river.
That's not
He did
it.
not find it.
Daniel Panone, who came in as the short stack, actually was able to go from 10th at this final table all the way up to 7th, and by doing that, he was able to ladder himself up into making an extra, almost doubling his money from where 10th place would have paid. Daniel Panone cashing out in 7th place for $26,846 in his very first MSPT cash, and Daniel, who's going to be making the track out to Vegas this summer, looks like he's going to play a couple WSOP events as well as I think going over to the Venetian this summer. He was able to satellite this in, so from a couple $100 to $26,000, you guys seen it can happen to Daniel. It can easily happen to you. If you guys are in this area next time, come on back out here in October. It figures to be another hopeful 1,000-player event. And congratulations to Daniel out of Rochester, Michigan.
Yes, very nice round.
And with that elimination, we are now down to 6. Who is going to be the lucky individual to walk away as the next MSPT champion here in Battle Creek, Michigan, taking home that very sexy prize of over $216,000?
9-fold.
10-fold. 4-fold.
That was good recognition by Lucarelli there to understand the hands that Panoni was going to be shoving on the button there, and that ace-9 suited was going to be doing good against that, and he didn't even think about it, and his hand was able to hold up. Massey, oh,
5 bets 150. 5-0. 7 calls. 5 checks. 7 checks.
he limped the small blind here with 9-5-0 and then took a shot on the flop, got some resistance, and looks like he's maybe giving up. I would guess to see him give up completely here if he gave up on the turn.
You think Rice
Yeah.
will put a value bet on the river?
No. He's got king high.
Oh shoot! I thought I had 7-5. Sorry, that was not definitely not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking he flopped second pair. I was thinking the flop was ace king jack, not ace queen.
A bet from Aaron would have got it done, but he probably expected his opponent to have a pair a lot after calling the bet on the flop.
All right, I think we got about 16 minutes here before our next break. We've put a little headway here in this first 2 hours round at the table. As you can see, we're down from 10 to 6. Shanahan, who's been very quiet and just picking up hands in the right situations, and has become the pretty good chip leader all of a sudden. Rice, who came in, I think right on average, became the chip leader, and now he's sitting right around the stack with Aaron Massey, who came in as our original chip leader. But we have a couple short stacks on the bottom side with Myers and Moore. And Lucarelli just hanging in there. He was hanging around in there and then just picked up a stack to increase his stack by over 50%. And he's at an over $3 million. So looks like it's anyone's game right now. Like you said, if Myers or Moore gets a double up, they'll be right in the middle of everything too.
Yeah, absolutely. Myers has been pretty quiet since the ace jack hand. He opened up pretty aggressively. Then he flopped top pair jacks against a set of fours and doubled up Smith. And he's toned it back a bit since then, which I think is correct with his stack size. I think he's played well.
This is an interesting hand. I don't think you think Massey's going to 3-bet here, or do you think he's just going to flat the king 10 of diamonds?
I think Massey's going to 3-bet this hand.
If he flats, I think it'll definitely bring in Rice out of the small blind.
And I would expect this 3-bet just to work always. He hasn't been out of line at all at this table. I'm sure Lucarelli's just going to fold. And there it goes. Nice bet by Aaron. Takes it down.
Now, some people who are watching might be thinking to themselves, it's just a matter of time before these guys chop up the money. There's so much on the line, but not on the MSPT, not in these main events that are broadcasted. Chops are not allowed. All of these players sign the release forms, the paperwork, at the beginning of the tournament, and they're going to play it out. So somebody is going to win $216,829 tonight. This is serious business. They've been playing now for over 12 hours here, and now the big money is on the line. This is crunch time, as I like to say. This is where they need to be playing their A game, and sometimes that's hard to do after such a long grind.
Yep, no chops, just champs here on the MSPT.
And speaking of someone who's not made a chop in 12 years, I thank the MSPT for making certain there are no chops. Unlike all the so-called geniuses out there who chop whenever they can, I love the idea that they can't make a chop here.
Massey's got the ace-queen here. Probably not going to get much resistance from anyone. We haven't talked too much about Aaron's 3 consecutive runs in this tournament. It's actually pretty amazing. He 3 times ago when it was here, 1 year ago, he won the tournament, and then
last year at this time.
Yeah, then just last October he made the final table again, took 7th, I believe, and then now he is in this one. That's really amazing, especially in the size of these tournament fields.
And if Aaron goes on to win this tournament, he will be #1 on the all-time MSPT money list.
Yeah, which would be a pretty incredible thing to swoop in and take the lead in that. But Aaron's also very successful outside the MSPT. He's a well-known poker pro. He's got more than $3.1 million in tournament earnings. That's not even including whatever he takes here today. And his breakthrough, if you will, came back in 2012 when he won the River main event. I think that was in Oklahoma.
At the WinStar.
At the WinStar, yep, for $651,000. And now ever since then, he's just been putting up those 6-figure scores left and right. He's a MSPT champ, an HPT champ. He's won some events at the Chicago Poker Classic. He won the Indiana State Poker Championship back in 2011. The WPT Borgata event. He does it all. He's a prime example of a circuit grinder who just puts his nose to the grindstone, keeps going, and good things happen.
Yeah, and it's by no means a coincidence. Aaron's an excellent player, and he puts in tons of volume, which he gets himself deep in these tournaments, and often takes advantage of it when he does go deep. I know he was complaining well, not I won't say complaining, but he'd had a bad run of, I believe it was like 9th or 10th place finishes.
He told me the same thing.
So, well, he didn't even tell me. I saw it in a video, an interview he did, but at least he's gotten past that, it seems.
Five, 7 full.
And look at this, Shanahan now. He's actually opening up, now that he's got the chip lead, opening up the queen 7 off in the cutoff.
I like it. I've actually played with Shanahan a few times. I think he travels around and plays some, and he's always seemed to play well when I've played with him. And that's continuing here. And Lucarelli's going to defend with the queen 10, which I would as well. Four spotter. Was it a 9 or a 10?
4 checks.
Oh, 3 spotter, I guess.
You just can't spot
I
sides,
can't.
can
No, I thought
I'm
it
the
was
blind
4.
one. I'm the one with the
I
glasses
thought
on.
it was 4 right when it came out. So I would expect check fold from Lucarelli here. Shanahan's got a bet with, yep, 325k, queen 7.
Look at that.
take it down
Shanahan's
with
starting to step the aggression now that he's got the chip lead. Picked up 2 uncontested pots. Well, picked up 2 pots in a row. He's gone from 7.7 to 8.3 million.
And oftentimes when you go to a flop heads up, neither player is going to flop anything. So Shanahan, being the aggressor there, was able to use the stack and take down the pot with a c-bet. And now he's opening up a really nice chip lead here.
The lowest the highs. Me and you got the one side of the table. You got the we're outnumbered. We're not chip. But we have 3 good legs between the 2 of us. Like our chance. No, I got 2 crutches though.
Table's a little talkative. Everybody's happy. Why wouldn't they be at this point?
Now we talked a little bit, Adam, about your bracelet. Somebody else here has some WSOP gold, not a bracelet, but Josh, you have your fair share of circuit rings. What are you up to now? 7?
Yeah, 7. I play a lot on the MSPT is my favorite tour, but I also play a lot on the WSOP circuit.
7 rings is no joke. I think Maurice Hawkins holds the all-time lead right now with 10. There's a couple guys at 8, and I think a few at 7. But I mean, you're right up there with when you mention names of the greatest WSOP circuit players. Your name's got to be right up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd consider that myself, but that's an honor to be considered. This is a big hand, blind versus blind.
Blind versus blind. This could be a really big pot here. Yeah, Lucarelli. Did Lucarelli limp in?
Yeah, he's going to limp shove 21 bigs, most likely, and Aaron's... I don't know. Aaron might fold with what we've seen from him, but ace-jack blind versus blind is a really big hand, but when a guy's limp shoving... I don't know if this guy's limp shoving any ace. I mean, I would doubt it, so we'll have to see what Aaron decides.
And this is a common tell, by the way, for you guys out there. When you go back to look at your cards, when you have the virtual nuts, more or less, which tends his heads up, blind versus blind,
Here's the limp
it's usually
shove.
it usually indicates very big strength.
Now Aaron's going to think about it for sure, I would imagine. This is not an easy decision.
No, and I think if Aaron folded king queen before, when it was a much easier call, the king queen suited, I think he still believes he can pick up much more smaller pots, and he's just not going to call off with ace jack. I think if he had ace queen, I think he would have called here.
He's really not loving folding, but he's not, doesn't want to call, I'm sure. I don't know. It's a tough spot. Like, this is when we talk about 2005 poker, nobody would ever fold at this spot.
I feel like you tried to trap me last time.
I don't know if Aaron's gonna.
Just check.
It comes down to, does he think that he's limp shoving all of his ace highs?
Of course, he has seen him already jam ace nine off, so or re-jam all in. So maybe he thinks he might go with that. Yeah, and that does not surprise me. Aaron folding ace jack.
he just doesn't want to take any high variance spots, which he's made pretty obvious at this final table, which is probably the best approach for him being,
Got trapped, man.
I mean, I
Probably the
don't
most
think anybody
experienced
could
player.
argue that he's, yeah, definitely at least the most experienced player at this table.
You think if one or
not
two
the
other
best
players
player.
could pick up on this, that they could move in on Aaron a few times?
Yeah, if any of these guys have friends watching this or updating them, and they find out that could hurt Aaron, but he can adjust too, you know. There's no phones allowed at the table, so
Nope.
they wouldn't be able to see anything until break. Anyways, so it would take a while for them to make any adjustments, but and then Aaron's smart enough, you know, he could realize that was happening pretty quickly and readjust to that.
And looks like Myers has finally picked up a hand after being quiet for a little bit. He'll move in. He's not going to get any opposition here.
Yeah, Aaron's gonna fold the ace-6 suited. That's the best hand he's up against, and just gets it through, no problem. Yeah, Myers and Moore had both been quiet for quite some time.
I'd actually like to see what would happen if Myers can get a hold of chips again. I think he's got a lot of talent that we're not getting seen utilized.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But Moore is definitely going to have to pick up a spot here, because if he doesn't get it one here in the next few minutes, the blinds are going to be 81-60. He'll have probably less than 5 big blinds here very soon.
Yeah, he's gonna be +1 here. He'll be the big blind very soon, and they're about to go up. You said, huh? Yeah.
So chances are his big blind will be coming up very shortly. So.
He's just hoping to find a hand that he's happy to get it in with.
And I'm
9 folds. 10 folds.
looks like we're missing. Are we missing one of the hands here? No.
4 folds. 5 folds.
Oh yeah, there came one.
So my guess is Aaron gonna still here on the button with the queen deuce off?
He folded already. It looks like, yeah.
Now Rice,
Rice.
you see now because he knows he has the big stack
ICM.
on his left. Now he's
Yeah.
just limping.
Yeah, but we talked about these guys' stacks here.
It'll be interesting if the roles reverse. Okay, he's gonna check the 9 deuce.
That's smart of Rice, though. Just so you know, he doesn't want to play any bigger pot than he needs to against Shanahan right now, with Moore and Myers stacks being what they are and the pay jumps as big as they are.
Seven bets 135.
I'm surprised. I'm actually pretty surprised Rice let out there.
Yeah, it does lead to the pot getting bigger if Shanahan did have something. So
Exactly,
he could-
yeah.
but I mean, Ace Jack is definitely a hand you can get some value from on that flop too. So there's arguments for both sides, I think. Aaron's been patient at this table more than I would expect. He's definitely changed his game to a more patient style over the years, it seems, which I think we all have, a good majority of us.
You go for big swings of money, that can happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Lucarelli's gonna open. If Lucarelli folds, I would have predicted Massey to open up the 6-4 spade. It looks like he did fold. Massey will be opening up the 6-4 spades here. 100% he's opening.
He's got 3 monsters behind him that he'll have to get through.
5 raises.
The 8-3, the 3 deuce, and the 7 deuce.
Well, you see, this summer, those are the first 2 cards I want to be looking at in a lot of the games I'm playing. I want to see the offsuit 7 deuce.
Yeah.
When I'm in, or the offsuit deuce 3. The offsuit deuce 3. Ooh, it's a nice little starter in Badusi. Give me a couple more offsuit games going. Maybe 20, 30 years in the future, maybe the MSPT will have a Badusi main event. What do you think the odds of that are, Chad? In about 30 years from now?
Not very good.
The same odds that Brian's going to start
Have you-
consulting
I
you
don't
for
know
this.
if I can name one MSPT player that knows how to play Badusi. I don't even know how to play
Me,
Badusi.
one. There's one. Who else?
That's about it.
I'm sure there's some.
I know Badugi.
Have you
But-
have you played Badusi?
I have not.
But you know the rules.
It's not really. What's the
It's a,
goal?
Badusi is a split pot game. It's half deuce to 7 triple draw and it's half Badugi. The difference is, unlike in Badugi, the nut in deuce to 7 triple draw, it's the same concept. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, assuming you don't have 5 spades or 5 clubs, is the nut for the triple draw hand, and the nut hand for the Badugi part is 2, 3, 4, 5 of different suits.
So no aces and
Yeah, aces are high. But don't expect to be getting too many 2, 3, 4, 5s that often.
so
I might have actually played that once in a mixed at the Wynn in Las Vegas, 3-6 game or something. We were playing fun, and I had a good time. Those mixed games can be fun. I just play low stakes recreationally with friends. I know you play more serious games, but mixed games are a nice break from No Limit Hold'em.
When I was getting hurt a few years ago, about 10 of us guys who don't play the mix, they invited me out to join with the Mirage one night. And a few people were, why are you inviting the one person who said I'll play mix? Obviously, that was the one night all summer I was hitting every hand in sight. And I'm like, well, what'd you expect he was going to win? And I said, buddy, I promise you, you're like one of the few people I don't know here. I've hit more hands now than I have in the last 3 weeks. I would have happily lost $700-800 tonight in order to have done slightly better all summer. Believe me, this doesn't surprise me at all. I'm hitting now. Because that's how life works when you're running bad. You win the one time you could not really care less about when you're playing much smaller than you normally play in your smallest game.
So this is going to be the last hand before we go on our first scheduled break of this final table. Be a 10-minute break. But let's see if anything happens before that.
Aaron's opened and gotten through the last 2 hands, and it looks like he'll go for 3 in a row here, right on cue when I talked about him playing a little more patient.
5 raised to 250.
And big blind is 8-5. I don't see him getting called by anyone here.
Nope. Looks like a bunch of junk all around the table.
9 full.
It's actually possible they could get maybe one more hand. It looks like...
So in regular Badugi, it's ace deuce 3-4.
Yeah,
right?
ace
Okay.
3-4 is.
So Badusi is.
Well, I'll tell you, considering we're going on break right now, we're going to take a small break ourselves. We'll be back in just shy of 10 minutes, and we will bring you more action on this final table here at FireKeepers, as well as more Badugi and Badusi talk when we get back. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. Final 6 players here at FireKeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan. Once again, for those of you who are just coming in for the first time today, we got 1,066 runners, and you're hearing that right, 1,066 entries. The largest amount of people we've ever seen enter an MSPT event outside of Las Vegas. The work that's been done here at FireKeepers over the last 3-4 years to go from, what was the initial, about high 200s, I think?
Yeah, either high 2 or low 3. It was much smaller back then.
And this
Come
place
on.
just grinds. They advertise, they run satellites nonstop, and 4 years later, they've almost 4 times the amount of people they've got with the 1,066 runners. As a result, 99 people that came to this tournament were able to get at least a min cash, including myself, for $22,072. But for one of the final 6 players, someone's going to be walking away with $216,829. We'll see, and who will it be? Right now, the final 6 players remaining are Frank Lucarelli. Lucarelli's sitting with about $2.8 million. The chip leader to start the final table is Aaron Massey out of Chicago, who won this event last year. He has about $4.5 million right now, who's sitting in second in chips. Justin Rice, who was the chip leader at one point this final table, he's sitting with nearly double with what he started with just under $4 million. Michael Shanahan, who's our current chip leader, with $8.2 million. And then the next 2 guys are 2 of our shorter stacks. Chris Myers, who is sitting with 1.13 million, and Terry Moore, who's sitting with about $500,000 right now, who's got to make a move very soon if he's going to try to at least get at least one more spot up to the final 5 and have a shot at that big $200,000 plus payday.
Yeah, we got 2 guys right now. They got 3 big blinds and 7 big blinds with Moore and Myers. So Myers is probably just hoping Moore gets it in so he can. How many are left? 6. He's looking at a $10,000 pay jump if
and that's huge on especially on $1,000 buy-in.
Yeah. So it's a tough spot for Myers. He's just waiting for Moore to get it in, but neither one of them's getting dealt anything to get it in. So they're going to be forced to pretty soon. At least Moore is for sure.
What do you think of the play that we've seen so far this final table?
I don't think anybody's made any glaring mistakes. I think it's been a solid final table. Everybody's been playing fairly well. Now Myers has 8s, and I think he has to go with it even with Moore having 3 big blinds. Yeah, and I think he's just gonna get all folds. So.
Yeah, no one picked up anything behind him.
Yeah, he would hate right now. I mean, he had no choice with 8s, but he would just hate to bust before Moore.
Yeah.
You still have to play to win the tournament. That's where all the money is.
I think if he would have had about deuces or 3s, he probably would have folded. But
Yeah, I
8s
agree.
are just too good to fold there. You have to risk sometimes 10,000 to win an extra 180,000, which I think is about the difference between first and sixth right now, if my math is anywhere near correct.
Yep, he just gets it through. That's a really big pot for Myers right there. It gives him some breathing room, a whole nother orbit, and in that orbit, Moore's going to be forced to be all in at some point.
So, I got a question for you, Josh. When you're going deep, I assume you're not too nervous anymore when you go deep in these tournaments, but when you're watching your father, what's it like when you're watching him?
I've watched him enough too that neither one of them's super nerve-wracking, but if he was getting close to this 216K, I'm sure it would have been a little more nerve-wracking, along with myself, you know? You kind of have the build up to where you've done it, and it's not as nerve-wracking anymore, but still, once you get to amounts of money like that, everybody's going to have a little bit of nerves.
Still, the fact that it's your dad, though,
Yeah.
Well, a couple, two summers ago at the World Series of Poker, my dad finished ninth in the 1500 deuce to 7 triple draw event, and I busted out early on day 2 of the 3K horse event, if I remember correctly. Everyone at the table was like, "We want your dad to win." Because I was running back and forth in between hands.
Yeah, I've sweat Pops many times. He's made a lot of good runs, so I've had the opportunity to watch him. He actually was fortunate enough to finally get himself a nice little score. He won a WSOP circuit event, and Cherokee won a ring. So I was really happy for Pops when that happened. I was sweating that final table really hard.
8 for the family, yeah. Same thing when I was watching my dad a couple years ago. Actually, I think I might have texted Chad because Chad just knows information on everything. I guess if my dad had been fortunate to win that, we would have been the second father-son combination to have won bracelets other than Doyle and Todd Brunson I mentioned
Doyle
earlier.
and Todd are the only ones.
That would have been cool. I would have been talking about my dad nonstop if he would have won that.
So does he still go out and play sometimes, or?
He'll be going out to Vegas for 2 weeks this summer. I think he'll play about 3 or 4 events there, 3 or 4 of the mixed game tournaments at the World Series again. I think he cashed in the seniors event last year. He won't be there in time in order to play the Venetian, the MSPT tournament, the Venetian this summer. But knowing him, I think he's going to play about 4 mixed game events at the World Series, along with possibly the seniors event. He'll play a few more of the mixed events around Las Vegas. Some of the $300-500 buy-ins at either Play in Hollywood, the Golden Nugget. I don't even know what the schedule is for any of the other venues this summer.
Okay.
Just because
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. There's not very many father and son combos, so it's cool we both have that.
It's something very cool. It's so much more fun watching my father, and I'm guessing you feel the same way.
Yeah, for sure. Myers had to fold the ace-7 there because Moore's stacked. You know, even if he felt like he was ahead.
Yeah,
and Moore's smart enough to do that. I mean, that's good. He knows he has to call right there. He had no choice. He's in for one of his 3 big blinds. You have to call off.
Exactly.
Unluckily, he's in bad shape, but maybe he'll find a 4. He was just hoping to have live
Oh,
cards.
he's
Now
got a
with
gut shot.
A gutter ball.
Any 2-spot, any 4 or 5.
Any 4 or 5 will do.
Good game, man.
And that will
Two.
not do it.
That was a really good run there, and just pretty card dead he was at the final table. Didn't have a lot of spots.
And sometimes that's just the way it goes. And Terry Moore, who came in as our second short stack, was able to ladder from 9th to 6th place, and he made himself quite a few more dollars.
Yeah, he played well. He had the kings versus queens double up right away. He check raised the flop and got his whole stack in, and he was able to grind that out for some pay jumps. And
Yeah, and like Terry, this was his second MSPT cash ever, along with a cash in Evansville three summers ago. Prior to this, his largest cashes for a little over $24,000, and he eclipsed that today by cashing for $32,731. So congratulations to Terry, and I've got no doubts we will see you sometime soon within the Midwest, and hopefully if you're out in Vegas this summer. So well done, Terry, and with Terry Moore's elimination, that leads us to the last 5 players remaining.
yep, and we got a dead small blind here. Myers just going to shove and obviously win this spot. Lucarelli having the 7 deuce. And now Myers getting a little traction, got 2 shoves through.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Myers start jamming a lot because I think he knows that everyone else has at least twice as many chips as him. I've actually been pretty impressed with this play overall. He made probably the best play at this tournament at this final table so far when he 3-bet the 6-5 of hearts.
Yeah, he ended up putting a lot of pressure on ace-king and winning it with a bet on the flop when he still had 6 high. So that was a very well played hand. And if it wasn't for that unfortunate hand with ace-jack versus pocket 4s on, well, I believe it was jack 7-4 or jack 8-4, then I think he would have still been continuing to build chips throughout. And he's still here, and he's still got a chance. So he's done a really nice job.
When Moore just got knocked out, he was down to about 400,000 chips approximately.
Yeah, he had 3 big blinds.
Yeah, so I'll say about
a little over
400,
400, 445, 450, I think, at 160. He had jack 4 against queen jack.
All in.
And here's Myers again, shoving it again with the queen 9 and gonna get through for a 3rd time. And it does appear, yeah, he was just being smart about the pay jump and waiting for Moore to get his money in, and now he's willing to get it in. Queen 9-0 he had there on the button, 9 bigs or so.
Yeah. Picks up an extra nearly 300,000 between the blinds and the antes there.
Yeah, which is huge. All 3 of those shoves he got through were huge for his stack at the moment. Massey with the ace-jack and the small blind. I don't think he's going to fold it as easily as he did the ace-jack and the small blind earlier. Ace-jack of diamonds.
I think Myers he won't jam in this time.
No.
But Lucarelli will raise, and I think Massey will he'll 3-bet the ace-jack this time.
So he's going to go for a 3-bet call then, you think? He's about, what is he, 17 big blinds effective?
Well, I mean, he would 3-bet to about 900,000 here, and I think he'll fold Lucarelli, but...
Yeah. You think so? I don't think he'll 3-bet fold 17 bigs ace jack small blind versus button. But
no. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I meant Lucarelli.
Okay.
I think I meant Lucarelli's going to fold the ace deuce.
Oh yeah, of course. But if Lucarelli were to shove, Massey's 3-betting to call here, I think.
Yeah,
He
he's
could
going to
3-bet
hate
fold
it
to
because
raise.
he doesn't want to put over half his stack with ace jack.
Right, I agree.
Raise 825. 7 fold.
And Lucarelli's probably just going to make a reluctant fold here, I would guess. Might be back to him that Aaron had king 10 of diamonds the last time by now, but you don't really know if it is or not. And how out of line is king 10 of diamonds? It's not super out of line. I believe it was cut off versus button.
And not at all. So we're down to the final 5 here. The winner will be taking home $216,000, but 5th place isn't too bad either. The next person to go out is going to receive a payday of over $42,000. Be a nice boost to any of these people who might be coming out to Las Vegas this summer.
Absolutely, give them some more funds to
Pay for a few more buy-ins, a few more hotel nights,
take care of everything.
a few more dinners, a few more drinks, a few more cab rides.
That's all we're looking for is more buy-ins.
And here I think Aaron will definitely be raising the, yeah, Aaron's going to be raising the 8-5 of diamonds here on the button. I don't think he'll get any opposition here.
I think Shanahan might defend here.
You
You think?
I'll say no. You say yes?
I'll say he will.
All right, we're 2-2. Oh no, that can't be good. He put the chip on the cards.
If he 3-bets, we both lose.
No, I think
But I don't see that happening.
3-bet you win. I think just the idea that he's going to play it.
Call.
And he played. Oh man, I went from now. I've lost 2 in a row. I'm 2-3 now. What would be a really fun 8-5-4? Would be the most fun flop.
Yeah.
7-6-4. 7-6-4.
Those sound kind of brutal.
Check.
That'll be torture
Yeah.
for one of them. Aaron must have flopped the pair as he checked behind the flop.
Oh no, he just
No,
gave
he
up
didn't.
because it's a 10-9 connects with a lot of defending range. So Aaron's just probably going to go with the delayed c-bet here and take it down.
Yeah, I'm surprised Shanahan actually checked the turn.
I like the check back by Aaron on the flop. It represents showdown value, and you also find out something from your opponent with more with 2 checks than with 1. You know. Yeah, Shanahan had the gutter. Turn might have been a good opportunity for him to lead and win the pot, but he didn't, and Aaron took it down. Yeah, you asked about the play at this table. What's your opinion?
I don't think anyone's been completely out of line so far. At least of the remaining 5 players. From what we've seen, I don't think it's that surprising. These seem to be the final 5 players remaining. These 5 have played pretty solid overall. Picking their spots. I think Aaron's probably taking the most, the more liberal spots, but he's trying to keep his variance down. I've seen a little bit more. The other guys seem to be willing to play more bigger pots. But this is going to be an interesting spot for Lucarelli here.
Yeah, he's had some real tough spots where he ran into hands behind him, and here he is again. Let's see if he can get away from it another time.
It seems like Lucarelli's been getting 3-bet a lot, actually, but I think he's just ran to better hands a
Yeah,
lot.
I wonder if he knows that these guys have not been messing with him, you know what I mean? It would be good of a friend that was watching to let him know that, because at some point he's probably going to think they are if he doesn't have the information.
Raise.
And this is going to be the hand where you're going to see a lot about Lucarelli here.
This is a
He
tough
can keep
spot,
some efficiency.
5-handed, but yeah, it looked like he's leaning towards going with it, doesn't it?
I don't know. It's going to be really close. I'm not making a prediction on this one. What do you think he's going to do?
I would have thought he was going to fold until he did fold. Okay, until the first reaction I saw from him when it got on him and he cut out the chips.
Great fold there from Lucarelli.
Yeah, very nice fold. He's avoided a lot of spots like that.
With that fold, though, he's starting to creep towards Myers for the bottom 2 right now. But sometimes just the way it goes. Sometimes did nothing wrong when he raised ace-deuce earlier, and Aaron woke up with ace-jack, and now he had the ace-jack and ran to ace-king.
Yeah, and even before break, the same thing was happening to him in other spots, and he was just running into it. So he's been able to avoid all those spots, and he's recognized that these guys aren't 3-betting super light, He's just running into the hands, If you're up against somebody that's 3-betting light and you have ace-jack right there, and they're 3-betting light, it would be pretty exploitative to fold. But when these guys haven't been out of line at all, ace-jack's going to be in terrible shape against their 3-betting range.
Yep. It looks like we have the first misdeal at the final table. No big deal. Everyone gets new cards. Maybe we'll get the aces versus kings versus queens hand here. We've all been waiting for.
Right after the misdeal.
Yeah. Something always goofy seems to happen in a misdeal. Let's see if that's the case or not.
You're always rooting for the dirtiest things to happen.
We need to see pain. Pain
Yeah,
is
the
good.
old 8-5-4 flop, 8-5 or 6-7. Kings, queens, aces.
350. Raise the 350.
Aaron opened and Lucarelli folded king jack there. I'm sorry, ace 3. Aaron had the king jack.
Yeah, I think if Lucarelli would have been a little bit deeper, I'm thinking he probably would have defended the ace 3 there. But as it stands, Lucarelli now is in the near danger zone along with Myers, both at 10 and 8 big blinds, respectively.
And they're both getting in the situation of waiting on each other to get eliminated again.
The difference between 4th and 5th place is about a little over $15,000. Yeah, we got a few hands here, looks like. I think the 2 short stacks will be playing a pot here, unless the...
Lucarelli
Actually, you know what?
fold.
Wow, look at that Shanahan. He folded the queen 10.
Yeah, with those stacks behind him, he's got to be more
That
conscious
was surprising.
of them.
Yeah.
That's a good fold by him.
Yeah, Myers is going to move all in, and I think Lucarelli's going to play his short stack along with king
This is
queen.
going to be a tough spot for Lucarelli. But
I
I'm
think
with
he's
you.
going with it.
I think he's in there as well, especially because Myers has shoved. This is the 4th time and almost like last orbit,
Yeah.
a little over an orbit. So,
I'd be very surprised if Lucarelli folded.
and this is pretty unfortunate for Myers here to be dominated. He's just making.
Fold.
And
I think he just announced
yeah, he
all
said
in,
all
too,
he
yeah.
did.
Yeah, Myers is just making a shove he's supposed to make, and Aaron's folding one of his jacks. We see,
Yep. That takes us out.
and 2 of his diamonds. So this
And
is
he's
going
got
to be tough.
his jack clubs is dominated on the suit.
Chop outs.
Yeah, king 10 could be an ace on the ace or
Ace,
king.
king, 10. We'll all do it.
Or 10, yeah. Now, they flip
Traded
flop. They
outs,
flip
which
flop.
is good for Myers because the queens are. No, it looks like only 1 queen's live too, huh?
That won't do then. Lucarelli looks like he's going to knock out Myers. I'm sure they're going to count down stacks to verify.
1.3. He went all in for 1.3 million, and Lucarelli had him slightly covered there. King queen versus king jack. Button versus small blind. That king jack is just gonna pretty much always be shoving there when you're folded 2 on the button with about 8 big blinds.
Yes.
You're happy to look at king jack.
Of course, just unlucky that he ran to the hand that had him pipped by exactly 1 notch.
Yeah.
And with that, that's going to take Chris Myers out in 5th place. Chris from Buffalo, New York, who we believe who made the best place over at this final table, just ran pretty unlucky to run ace jack when he flopped top pair, top kicker into a set earlier. He bought in directly in this tournament. This is his first MSPT cash, and a lot of big first MSPT cashes here, not the normal min cashes. He's going to cash for just over $42,000. So, Chris, congratulations and thanks for coming out here, and we hope to see you sometime very soon again.
Yeah, his occupation says life coach, so I'm sure he'll handle this loss with this elimination with
Exactly. If this is, I'm sure he's not going to have any problems.
coping with it. Yeah.
Well, maybe he's they say those who can't do teach, right? So maybe
Yeah.
he can't do himself.
Maybe, yeah.
8 folded, 3 folds.
And with that, we're at the final 4.
Messi limped small blind, and Rice checked his option here.
Yep. What's the most bloody flop? 6, 7, 8, 2 clubs?
Not 3-3 ace for sure. There, Aaron hits a jack. I don't think Rice is gonna even fall
No.
into the trap or take a stab. I think Aaron's gonna check again. Yeah.
Again,
That
Rice.
played out pretty quick. Yeah. And Rice just never even bothered. Once you check flop and turn there, your river, what you're repping is.
If he's going to barrel, he's got to barrel over pot to rep to 2-5 where he checked it 3 the whole way through.
Yeah. If you're deciding to bluff, you probably should be trying to represent more than just 1 or 2 hands that improved on the river. Even if Aaron was sitting with king high right there, I think that a bet would have had a hard time getting him to fold.
I agree. But with the last elimination, let's pull up the stacks on the remaining 4 players here. See Shanahan sitting with 7.5, still been our chip leader for a little bit. Massey at 5.7. Rice and Lucarelli following up with 4.3 and 3.2 million. So right now everyone's still sitting with chips. I think aggression is probably going to be the key right now. Who shows the most aggression overall, barring someone picking up the majority of the deck. Aggression is probably going to be key.
Yep, and Aaron opens the 5-6 suited on the button right on cue, showing the aggression. We haven't seen anybody open limp any position other than the small blind, Like, you'd think maybe there might be some button limps mixed in, but once you get to this point in the tournament, it doesn't happen as often. But
Very, very correct.
I haven't seen any limps. I myself might mix in some limps at this stage, which I guess a lot of people don't do that.
Like I said, I'm a fan of that. I know we're in the minority of those that think like that, but it throws people off occasionally. But occasionally when you do that, you have to limp in big. And we have a couple hands here.
The ace queen suited and the sevens will both likely get involved in this one. It might go three ways with Lucarelli because I expect Rice just to flat here on the button.
I think if Rice flats, I would be genuinely surprised if Lucarelli did not at least call the Jack 9.
Call. And he does flat. Now Shanahan hasn't taken any situations similar to this with his chip lead, and he's still not going to. But there's been he did take the ace 9 suited, but that was just heads up. There haven't been really many 3-bet squeezes at this final table either.
I don't know. Just one we've seen. That's it. So we have a flop where we can get some blood. We want blood.
2 hearts and 8-6-6. So sevens aren't going to be folding. Aaron's going to be putting some chips in the pot.
Nice. Going to continuation bet, and Rice will definitely take another card off. It's a shame Rice doesn't. I mean, yeah, Rice has a 7 hearts, so there can't be a true bloody card on the turn.
Yep, there's not gonna be any sevens full versus
like
not
pure
flush.
gin cards.
Aaron's
Aaron's gonna check the ace though, because now he wants to.
Yeah, there's not really any bad cards for Aaron on the river in his eyes, so he's just gonna try to get one more street out of this one.
Yeah, he knows Rice doesn't have ace king here, so he knows unless he just flopped like pure gold with 8s full or quad 6s, he's got the basic nuts.
Yeah. What is it?
Black Jack.
Okay. Spades got there. Jack of Spades isn't a super good card, but I expect or flush draw that Rice likely does not have. He could have ace jack, but also unlikely. I guess Aaron's probably going to be going for value here, and I think that Rice is going to fold pretty quickly.
I think he's going to fold. It's going to take him a while. I think he's a little upset with that. I think he's going to.
Aaron bet really small.
Yeah.
475 into 2.1 million.
Any chance he
Less than a quarter pot.
Any chance he turns his hand to a bluff?
No.
Makes it
not
1.5,
right, no.
1.6.
I mean, he's repping like 8s full, quad 6s, and I guess 8-6 suited, ace 6 suited. If he tries to raise here, I guess he could have 8-9 of spades. Some hands like that, but yeah, I just don't. Rice, I haven't seen him do anything like that.
No, Rice again. He called when he had the best hand, folded when he had the worst hand. Actually, with that pot, Massey's pulled in a near virtual heat with Shannon, actually. Or I'm sorry, with Shanahan. They both have 46 and 45 bigs now. And actually, Rice now he's starting to go towards Lucarelli here.
My big.
Shannon getting the aces, but he will not be getting any. Second time he's had aces now, right?
Yeah, the other time he did not get any action either.
I think Aaron
and got through.
Yeah, Aaron raised queen 10 off under the gun.
Yeah.
Well, he's at 8-7 of clubs. He could get some action.
I think.
Any chance he jams?
Here. I mean, there's definitely a non-zero chance he jams, but I think he's gonna fold. It's not a bad hand to shove with 7-8 suited, but I think with the amount of chips he has, he's more comfortable looking for better spots. Fortunately for him.
All right.
Aaron was looking like he had bad intentions for a second there, but ultimately folded.
Do it. Tight laydowns. Probably not gonna.
Small blind.
Unless it's too tight.
Raise to 380. Fold.
Shanahan getting another big hand right afterwards with the ace jack.
Once you get four-handed, I mean, king six off is more of a type of hand. You're not going to defend versus an under the gun open when you're seven-handed, but when you're the big blind and you're facing a four-handed open, king six is not that bad a hand to defend with. I probably would have just folded the king six myself, but
And now I think Shanahan has a pretty clear bet here, continuation bet here.
I might check back this spot sometimes, but
I think it's a chip. I mean, just because of how close the Rice is towards Lucarelli's stack, he's not gonna.
yeah, he's not gonna mess around. So you could just bet and win the pot, or if you get resistance, just hope you get there. You can get some value from some worse ace highs on that flop too. I think if Rice had a worse ace high right there, he probably takes one off.
And Aaron, who's got a pretty clear open with the queen nine of hearts, figures not to get any opposition here. Think it looks like we're gonna get down to a? Do you think it looks like we're gonna get down to a showdown between Shanahan and Massey? It's gearing that way right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most likely outcome at this point. I think anything's possible. It is tournament poker. I mean, Aaron could take third and Shanahan fourth, or, you know, you never really know, but that is the most likely outcome at this point, obviously. They're both playing really well also, so it's going to be hard for them not to get themselves into a heads-up situation. And they're getting dealt the hands that are able to open, even with their chip stacks. They're not even having to do it with illegitimate hands, you know, ace 10 and queen 9 suited or four-handed are hands you're going to be opening.
2 years ago, actually, Michael Shanahan, he was the chip lead on day 4 of the World Series of Poker main event.
Oh wow, okay.
So he knows what's like that, the big stack, and when it comes to the biggest tournament in the world.
Absolutely.
So having that little experience, looks like it's going to hopefully for his sake, it looks like it might pay off for him here.
Yeah, my dad was playing with Shanahan today. He said he was playing solid. They were chatting it up, and he just liked his chances going into this final table also, and that seems to be the way things are going at this point.
Big blind.
Coming up.
Now,
Shanahan with another hand.
8160, right?
Oh, this we. Oh, I think we'll at least see a flop here. Shanahan will definitely raise, and Massey will definitely defend the big blind with the ace 9 off here.
it was interesting last time Shanahan opened and Massey tanked for probably about 20 or 30 seconds before he folded 10-3 off from the big blind, and he wasn't doing it Hollywooding, I don't think, because he hasn't done anything to this point.
Not at all.
It could be like trying to slow him down a little bit, but I think it's more like he was thinking of doing something silly.
Call.
Not being silly saved him about 900,000.
Yeah. So they may clash at some point before.
There's a few
Before
flops
they-
here that could be clash worthy.
Check already.
I'm guessing, was there an ace on the flop?
Oh,
Oh, wow.
why
Shanahan
did he-
checked the.
that's interesting that he checked back, and now Aaron makes top pair.
It's going to go check again.
Yeah. That's really interesting to check back. It says sixes on the 6-7-8-2 diamond board.
Yeah.
Unorthodox, but
It's actually pretty. Yeah, he would have gotten a call for sure on the flop.
yeah.
Bet.
He'll probably get a call right now also.
Yeah, I think he's seen there's no way he's like. Yeah,
Look at
Aaron's really
Aaron.
confused.
He's like, what's going on here?
Jack, that'd be
Because the check back on the flop is unexpected with a hand like he has. So he's like, what are you checking twice and now you're betting? Aaron's got the calling chips,
Yeah.
and he put them in, and he's not going to like that.
That's good too.
That's a good check, he said. I think he would have won at least one street, if not two, if he'd bet the flop, though.
I don't know. Shanahan giving himself a little separation from Aaron there. You could tell that was a hand Aaron was not expecting to see get turned over.
No, never.
Off flops,
Which is good. That's good that you have something your opponent's not expecting you to have at all. So there's some merit in that for sure.
So I think all four of these players have played really well overall. I'd even go so far as to say of all I've now commentated on about half a dozen, maybe as many as 8 or 9 final tables. This is probably the best in terms of the final four players. This is probably the strongest strength of group of players I've actually seen when commentating one of these final tables. And Luke Corelli picks up a hand at the right time. Shannon Ray's, and there's no scenario in which Luke Corelli does not move all in. You agree?
Yeah.
And Shannon will ask for a count, but inevitably he'll fold.
15 bigs. Yeah, he's probably going to fold the ace four suited. That was the first time that last hand where Aaron actually looked, before he called the river, he looked somewhat confused. Every other decision has been done very confidently, you know. He looked a little perplexed, so Shanahan did something good there to throw him off.
2.65.
He's getting a little over 1.5 to 1. Ace four suited. It's less than 25% of his stack, but I think he's
nowhere
folding.
near getting the right price.
Yeah, I think he's folding.
Luke Corelli, similar to Myers earlier, I think similar. Like I said, he plays a short stack well. He understands the hand's supposed to be jamming, three bet jamming all in with, and I think if Luke Corelli were to get a hold of the chip lead, I think he would put his chips to use as well.
Yeah, it's anybody's game right now.
Yeah, I've been really impressed, not just Luke Corelli and Shannon, but also with Massey and with
Rice, yeah.
and Rice as well. Play's been really solid from all four of these players.
Good fold by Shanahan there.
You know, some people might be thinking this isn't what I would like to see. That I'd like to, either berate some of the play that I've occasionally done in the past, or, it's like, oh man, what is this guy doing? But it's.
Nice
it's great when you can see players who are just playing just really good, really close to the best of their abilities, and you guys are seeing a really quality final table from 10-handed all the way down to the final four.
Out there, real friendly. No friendly checks.
Aaron will probably open.
And
Shanahan will defend.
I think if Shanahan defended what did he defend last time? 7-6 off. He's probably just as likely to defend 10-8 off.
Well, he went
Yeah, he's definitely going to defend here, I think.
We did, and then we came to the same table together.
7 folds.
Or not.
Well, he lost the last one, so maybe that shouldn't really affect him, but maybe he's just like, I'll try this once, see how it goes, and didn't end up winning the pot, so he's going to try to avoid that situation in the future.
Big blind. 160.
6-7's less likely to be dominated than 10-8. I mean, 10-8's a better hand, but guess he could be looking at it that way.
Yeah. I think, let's see if Massey opens at 10-8 off here, which I believe he's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise to 350. 7 folds.
Down to shorthanded, he's really starting to open it up. I mean, he's
He's
pretty
been
good
opening
hands,
these
but
same type of hands in mid-late position, even when we were full ring, and
Yeah.
he's more likely to do this, which I believe he's supposed to do, and is, just thinking, less volatile. He's not taking he's picking up these small pots very uncontested a lot of the time, and this is what's kept him very comfortably without having to risk too many chips. Has he risked any chips at any point in this tournament? At this final table?
Not really, yeah. And a lot of people don't realize how important it is, like, to just pick up the blinds and antes, you know,
I mean,
tournament poker.
yeah, I mean, Aaron's definitely been the most aggressive player at this final table. He's definitely
Damn, blinds
putting his
keep
chips
coming around
more
every-
frequently than most, as you can see here.
They just keep
Massey's
turning it up
voluntarily
on
putting
you.
over a
You guys
third
want
of
us outta here.
the pots, much more so than the other 3 opponents. As a result, because nobody's really tried to contest him that often, Massey, who started as a chip leader with 3.9 million at this final table, has gone up to 6.7 to about 6.75 without too much opposition, and that's what you want to do. Avoid the all-ins. We're saying he's gone from to all the way up to 6.75 million, Aaron, and he's done that without even having to bust anybody.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. He's avoided the spots where he was, you know, even when he had good hands and had chances to take some higher variance spots, he just avoided them, and he's chipped up consistently through the smaller pots, just like it seemed to be his plan.
Raise the 375.
I'm pretty sure Shanahan's going to raise here, and everyone will pretty much fold pretty quickly here.
Yeah, other than the tens in between, it's just Shanahan and Massey have been getting dealt the best hands for the past 10 hands or so, just raising and winning.
Looks like Rice might be trying to force the issue a little bit, trying to really try to flop a pair here. Okay, yeah, I like that fold there in that spot. Because I think he knows if he doesn't flop a pair, he's just not going to win the hand in all likelihood.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, Adam. I know you've had a few drinks last night. Did you check out the new tap house? It's called the Tap House on property here at FireKeepers. It's their new, like, I don't know, beer bar, I guess.
It's fantastic, actually. I went there after I got through playing Day 1C yesterday in order to pick up a late night dinner, and even had one of the local beers here. Even though I've been trying to cut beer out of my life the last 3 months, that might be the 5th beer I've had in the last 3 months. But as good as it tastes, I'm glad I made an exception on that. Had one of the amber ales from one of the local Michigan breweries. It was fantastic. It was a good atmosphere. Everyone there was watching the basketball game last night between the Warriors and Spurs. And people just were in good spirits overall. It was good food, and people were just generally happy to be there.
Yeah, it's just right outside the poker room too, which is nice. So I've grabbed a quick bite to eat there a couple times this trip. Pocket aces for Rice.
Everyone's got a hand. I mean, that's amazing. Aaron's going to raise the King 10 of diamonds.
It's crazy how timing is in poker. Like, everybody, just one person had a hand or nobody had a hand, and now this hand,
This will be
every single
interesting.
person has a hand.
I think Rice is going to flat here. If he flats, he might get the entire table might call. And he's going to, like, hate life then.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him for flatting. What's he got? 16 big blinds? It'll look a little fishy to Aaron, probably. He hasn't done anything like that off of the stack size. He hasn't had the stack size really at the final table, but he hasn't flatted very much. So
This goes back to the tale. When you double check your cards,
yeah,
you got
there
the
it is.
nuts.
There it is again.
All in?
I look at it's a shit. Oh, that would have been fun to see a 4-way pot. But now we're going to get a couple folds here.
Yep. Everybody's just gonna let it go, I would have guessed.
Yeah, 3s, King 9 suited right away. Aaron's making certain he's not nowhere near priced in. And he'll let it go.
And Aaron makes another good fold.
That would have been much. You think it would have been 4-way? Or 3s would have called the small blind, and
Yeah.
big blind it would have been a 4-way
If
pot.
he flatted, it would have went 4 ways, I think, yes. Unless, well, I mean, it still would have been 4 ways until Lucarelli could have shoved.
He could have squeezed.
Yeah, if it wouldn't have been unreasonable for him to do.
And then Massey, he's folding the spots he would have folded, and then he would have immediately moved all of the aces, 3s fold. And
I think Lucarelli would have just defended, though. Hard to say.
I agree. And the blinds have gone up, by the way. We're now playing 1-200,000 with a $30,000 ante. I think part of the consideration why Rice moved in with the aces is because of the stack sizes. I was really close to Lucarelli. He didn't want to take a chance The difference between third and fourth is 57. I'm sorry, is 58,000, but third is 85,700. So, very significant pay difference, about $27,000 in change there.
Last time I looked.
And I don't think you want to take the chance of getting out flopped, and he cost himself a lot of money.
Yeah, it was unlikely he was going to get called. He probably knew that, unless somebody woke up with some sort of hand. But just winning what's out there and preserving your tournament life has something to be said about it as well. Look at that, Lucarelli went to showdown 0%.
Except for the all-in, I know with the ace-10. Look at this now, Rice in the big blind again with the ace-king. Lucarelli might move in here with the 9-7 of spades. I think it's a very likely scenario here. Nope.
Well, now he's only got, what does he have, 11 and a half big blinds, so like...
Massey hasn't folded yet out of the small blind once. Actually, because of this, he might make it 450 and then fold to a raise. I don't think he's going to limp. Yeah.
He limped earlier
that was
with,
correct.
with the 9-5-0.
Yeah,
too.
but at least he could flop it straight. Here, he's double suited, non-straightening. And Rice is definitely going to move all in here. He's not taking any chances.
He's got 16 big blinds, or
Yeah.
maybe 17 if they're not counting the one in there.
I will lay 10-1 on being right to being wrong. Do
Yeah,
you want that?
No, thank you.
No?
There's one play for him here most often.
All in?
Yep.
See, I like this. Aaron, not even Hollywood, just immediately folding. I'm a very big fan of that. You know you're not calling. Who cares? Just fold. Go on to the next hand.
Yeah, he seems to always do that, which is a good thing for poker, just not wasting time in general.
So if you're out there and you're watching, you're listening to us, don't waste time. We want to play more hands. If you know you're going to fold, fold. Hollywooding is dumb. In my opinion. Yours?
No, I agree. Like I said earlier, like if I open and somebody shoved 9 bigs or something, I might take like 5 or 10 seconds before I
And do
fold.
really quick math
Just,
before you...
well, I mean, not even if I
Not
know
even
I'm
enough,
folding.
yeah.
I usually know what I'm going to do ahead of time. But just because it looks like, you know, people are like going to be like, okay, that guy's playing way too aggressive, which you don't want them to think if you actually are. But it's a very rare situation. Just Hollywooding and wasting time in general is not good for the game.
Yeah, I agree. And Lucarelli, 11 bigs, no problems moving on with the ace-7 off here. And you can tell Rice knows this is really close, but I don't think he's going to pull the trigger on King 10 suited, and I'm pretty confident Shanahan won't call off either with Queen 10 suited.
Yeah, I would expect to see them both fold here.
But folding 40% to a royal is just torture sometimes.
Yeah. It's a hand you want to see a flop with.
I know I called on yesterday on day 1C, and
Look,
somehow
I'm smiling. He knows that he didn't like to.
Oh no, that was Queen 9 suited. One time, then I called Queen 10 suited, and I ran to the 9-6 off.
Oh yeah.
Another time I was getting 2-1 ace-4 suited. I'm like, I'm dead here, nice hand, and he turned over 8-6 off. So somehow I kept chipping. I'm like, wow, I'm somehow calling hands where the math is correct, and I'm just like, whatever. I want to go with the math here on day 1.
People are shoving on you. They must not.
And they have
must not
8-6
like
off
the way you
and
look or
9-6
something.
off. You think it's because I have red hair?
Maybe.
Or maybe because I support the Superior School in The Ohio State University?
It's probably not it. Even being here in Michigan, did you have some Buckeyes gear on?
Well,
like that was visible?
I did wear the appropriate T-shirt today for day 2. Let him hear you up north.
Yeah.
But I was wearing another Buckeye shirt yesterday. I was wearing a Columbus shirt yesterday.
I always wear my my Packers gear down to the Hammond, Chicago area casinos. It's probably not a good idea for me because people probably.
Well, you have
not a
Aaron
fan of
Rodgers.
that.
They have 2 quarterbacks now. They're paying $50 million for, and they're both marginally average.
Yeah.
Being generous, and gave up a bunch of picks to do so.
So it's interesting to see what Shanahan does with the king queen off here in the small blind. I think he's gonna call.
He's going to call, but I'd like to see Shanahan step up the aggression here, because I think if he makes it about 1.2, I don't think Aaron's going to call at all.
Yeah, especially with if he
can separate himself more from Aaron.
If he picked up the type of style that Aaron's been going with, low variance and avoiding big pots, 3-betting is going to put a lot of pressure on Aaron, and he has been seeming to avoid it. So I think it would be good to 3-bet, but I don't mind flatting either.
Let's see if we have the blood flop. We've really not seen a blood flop yet, have we?
King queen 5, that's what you want.
Check.
Aaron flopping Shanahan, drawing dead, and look at now he's checking behind
Aaron
his.
snap check back. He's going to try to get him back the same way he got him.
Yeah.
Shanahan has. I would expect if
I
Aaron's
don't
gonna
think.
bet and
Yeah,
Shanahan's
he
gonna
doesn't want to take a chance of a 4th straightening card.
But yeah, if another brick came off or if Aaron made a full house or something, he might check again, and then Shanahan might have stabbed at it. But As played with the board the way it is, Shanahan's probably just going to fold here.
And Shanahan, I think Shanahan thinks he's goofing around a little bit, but
If he's going to do anything, it'd be raise, I would guess. I don't think he ever just calls here. But already his mannerisms and posture have already, to me, looked like he was unsure what he wanted to do, which Aaron is always paying attention to. So I don't think there's any situation where he gets Aaron to fold this hand. Obviously not on this street.
if you were to raise and the 6 of clubs were to come up on the river, that could be the...
Yeah, I guess things could change. He called, huh?
Yeah, look at that. He did call. I wonder if a club comes off, I wonder if he would barrel.
Now he called the turn because he didn't believe Aaron, right? So now
Yeah.
he has
Maybe he put Aaron on
king
a
high and the board
10-9 or
paired.
jack-9.
That's a really good card for his hand in general. So obviously if he's calling there, he thought it was because there was a chance he had the best hand.
I completely agree.
So Aaron might end up getting extremely maximum value out of this hand.
I think Aaron's going to go big here. You?
Yeah, I think probably over half pot.
I think he's going to go really big. I think he's going to go 1.5. I think
I
he's
would
going
take
to
the
go
under
about
on
75%.
1.5.
Oh, I set the line. I didn't say that's what he's going to do. I'm just setting the line. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not saying I'm going to accept your bet. Let's put it this way. I know you in general you would... Well, how much did you... I think he announced the number. Oh my gosh, you go 1.5. Did I set the number?
You should have bet with me.
Well,
You've been spot on
well-
on those a lot of times.
Well, it wouldn't matter. I win.
Push.
I win if you take
Push,
over or
right?
under.
It's push.
Is it?
1 point. You said
No,
a line, right?
that should be like a double win if I'm calling out the exact number.
Price is right. You just
Yeah.
win the whole showcase. Or?
Of course, I win both prizes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only way you could win the hand.
Maybe.
There's one way you definitely could.
I didn't know what you had.
That's good. I like that.
That's what I strive for too. It doesn't work out very well.
7 folds.
Raise 450.
All right, final four down here in FireKeepers, playing for $216,000. 1,066 entrants up here, up in Battle Creek, Michigan. A wonderful job what they've done here. Again, we're down to the final four. First is 216, like I just mentioned. But whoever comes out in fourth is still going to be winning a very sexy prize day of just under $58,000.
Shanahan with another hand, queens, and Rice has fives in the big blind.
This could be this will be interesting.
I mean, it's not unreasonable for Rice to shove here with fives, 18 big blinds when Shanahan's been opening a lot of pots and has the chip lead. That would be unfortunate if he did end up doing that. He has two options. He can defend here, or he can shove.
Which one do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to shove. What do you think?
I agree.
I busted in a similar spot in the MSPT to Tom Hammers. He had jacks. I had a hand similar to fives.
All in?
There, he's all in. Shanahan's going to call. What is he doing? Oh, slow roll city. Net roll.
No. He called right away.
Oh, did he?
I mean, it took him like maybe 2 seconds. I don't think it's a slow roll.
Shaking his head.
Yeah, so
Everything's
definitely-
good so
definitely
far
no
for
five on the
Shanahan.
No back doors, no nothing, no straight, no flush draws. It's got to be a 5 and a 5 only. Can you get the two sides sweat at least to where maybe it's at least a 4 to where a little bit of a tease? And he will not. And Shanahan is opening up the chip lead. But for now, we are going to have to say good night to Justin Rice out of Waterford, Michigan, who came in the stack who came into the final 10 with an average stack of 2 million chips. But as you can see here, he at one point he became the chip leader when he had a little over 6.5 million, if I got the exact number correct. But Justin, who has previously, this is his first MSPT cash, and actually this is his highest cash ever. Like we said, 4th place, 58,000, and probably the biggest beneficiary of all this is Frank Lucarelli, who was sitting with a few chips below him. He's now laddered up to the final 3. But we will say congratulations to Justin, and I've got no doubts with the numbers here and what he did here today. We will see him very, very soon here again on the MSPT. Congratulations, Justin.
Yeah, nice job. He hopped in. He busted 2 bullets in the tournament on Friday, I think, 1B, and then he hopped in the satellite and ended up getting a seat in that, and got back in on Saturday and ended up making a nice deep run, 4th place. Congrats to him.
And I think you're going to see Lucarelli right now play the all-in mode because he knows he's significantly behind the other 2 remaining individuals in Shanahan and Massey.
He raises to 425, and there's a dead small.
He just opened a 425, which I really like that.
He's really trying to induce.
Yeah, it allows them to do something, but the only problem with it at this table, in general, I really like it. At this table, nobody's been out of line, so you're not going to induce too much here.
I think Shannon's probably going to take a flop actually here.
Yeah, you're probably, which is not really good for Lucarelli. So, I mean, if it's a table where guys are going nuts, I like inducing, but that hasn't happened here. And now he ended up getting to the flop against the 6-7, gets out flopped, and now he's in an awkward spot. Yeah, in general, I like his open though. But the shove might get, at this table, the shove might get called, at least from Shanahan, might get called a little wider than Shanahan's going to shove over his open.
That's 275.
And it's just not going to work out for Lucarelli here. He took a chance, and can't blame him. He's got to try to take a back spot in order to be a little competitive here against these 2 other stacks. And Lucarelli, he only bet very small on the flop, but it's going to take it down.
Yeah, he lost 2 big blinds, not that big of a deal.
He's got a huge cramp in my neck. Not good. Not good time. I need my mamita. She'll make me all better. I love you, mamita.
He probably was talking about me.
Why? He has strong hands.
Massey's got the ace-5 suited here.
Who'll raise? Do you think Lucarelli will defend or move all in here?
415.
Definitely not move all in, I don't think, but there's a chance he defends. I think he's just going to fold, though. Shanahan looks like he's going to play.
8 calls.
Shanahan defended the small blind.
3 calls.
No,
Wow,
Lucarelli
I
also
think
defended.
I think that's a little surprising.
3 players. Eight checks. 3 checks. 5 checks.
Shanahan flop top pair, check through, and now Aaron turned the nut flush draw, so he's going to have to take the card off on the turn here.
Unless Lucarelli moves all in.
Yeah, Lucarelli turned a pair also, but he folds quickly.
5 calls. 8 checks.
Shanahan, who value it looks, Massey did not take the bait. He was trying to induce him to bluff off probably about 700,000 chips. Instead, Shanahan now is over twice a stack on Massey, and this is an interesting spot in the tournament here. If Shanahan's aware how short Lucarelli is, it'd be very wise for him to, when it goes blind versus blind, to probably give him a couple walks and just pound on Aaron for a little bit, because Aaron doesn't want to give up an extra 50,000 in cash here. Third is 85,000, and second is 130, just over $131,000. And you can put a lot of pressure. And Aaron does not want to give up an extra 50,000 in cash here. He could pick up he could steal a couple million from Aaron here.
Yeah, but they're also deep enough where he can't really reasonably get all of Aaron's chips in on any street. I guess unless it's a 3-bet pot. So Aaron doesn't have to just like completely avoid pots with him. But there's definitely some pressure situations that he can put him into.
And Lucarelli's supposed to move in on Massey as much as possible, because if he can double through Massey, you want to double through the person ideally that's next in chips to you.
Yeah, even the counts out a little bit, and then
Exactly. So, and this way you at least give yourself a better shot to at least finish second.
yeah,
You know, they were playing for a lot of money. An extra an extra $47,000 goes a long way.
yeah, nothing he could do with the 4-5 there though.
Can't tell. I mean, Lucarelli, I think he's like really relaxed right now. I think he figures he's probably going to go out in third, and he knows he's done a great job here.
Yeah, he's happy with that, and anything else is probably a bonus. With the stacks the way they are right now.
Yeah, he probably assumes that, and rightfully so. If you're realistic, you're likely to go out next. All right, he picks up a hand, and he might actually double through here.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get.
I think Shannon's going to call
Shanahan here as long as he holds.
Yeah, it's 6.5 big bets. I think it's very. I think he's supposed to call here with the king 10. For 6.5 big bets.
There is the argument, like you were just talking about, keeping the short stack in play, but I think this is a spot where he just is gonna call.
Yeah. So this is a spot Lucarelli's hoping for.
Yep, this is exactly what he needed.
And if he can just get it to hold,
Paint on the flop.
what kind of paint?
I don't know.
Is it like
Looks
runner
like a
runner?
king.
You want the queen? You don't want the 7?
Or jack high? That's called being drawing dead on the turn. And Lucarelli happy to double up here.
1,560,000.
And just like that, Lucarelli's up to $3 million, and Massey might be in smiles right now, but I know he's tearing up. He's tearing up a little bit inside. He's like, I want an extra $47,000.
Yeah, I think Massey's ultimate goal is to win, but anytime you can get a $47,000 pay jump, you're gonna be rooting for it.
Massey picking up ace king. Now, if Shanahan was calling queen 9 it'll be interesting to see what Shanahan does with ace 3 here.
This is a spot I would be 3-betting or folding. I would be doing the same thing with the queen 9 that he had earlier, but yeah, he just folds pretty quickly. But queen 9 plays a little better post flop than
Ace 3
yeah.
absolutely does.
Not showing anymore.
So you're not showing any more?
No more. I just showed right now.
yet?
I just showed ace king.
Oh, okay.
It's a big show.
See, only show you show.
I want to show some.
You showed some?
Yeah.
What have you showed? I
I've
don't
been
remember.
showing.
What have you been showing? I don't remember you showing anything until just then. So it's the first time you actually had a hand with all those races.
No.
Adam Friedman alongside Josh Reichert and Chad Holloway.
Yeah, right.
We're glad to be here. Of course, I think Josh and I would much rather be playing right now, but not the worst consolation being able to call this for everybody out there listening and watching today.
To be fair, I'd rather be playing too.
That is
the
true.
same
Well,
thing,
true,
yeah.
but yeah, but
But
you're to work right now.
Yeah, I'm guaranteed to make money this way.
Yes,
so.
Take it right
you
back,
made
pal.
more money than the majority of the people.
That's
here, so
right.
yeah.
That's right.
I think I netted. Let's see, I was in for 2 buy-ins myself. That was for $1,110. So that's $2,220, and I cashed for $2,272. So I came in and I made $52 in the tournament.
Congratulations.
Unfortunately, I lost a little bit in the cash games, but that's all right.
We get a heads up. Whoever. I'll down to take a break. That's what I said. I said with
You're
whoever.
not going to make it an hour. I think that's
No, that's not what I said. I said with whoever. If I get heads up with whoever, I said if.
You're here things. You're just here what you want to hear.
It's always a nice, fun, relaxing feeling when you know you're in for a really nice payday.
Yeah, everybody seems pretty loosened up for the amount of money that they're playing for right now, which probably has a lot to do with the fact that they already have almost $86,000 locked
Or
up.
not 5 calls. Just one call.
2 of the remaining 3 players are professional poker players, and Lucarelli and Massey, and Shanahan, who is actually an attorney. Like I said, he's no stranger to play himself. Like we mentioned earlier, he was the overall chip leader in the World Series of Poker main event 2 years ago on day
That's
4.
the last time I show.
Something I can probably say none of the 3 of
Yeah.
us have been. Have we ever been the chip leader in the main event?
Of course I haven't.
No. I know I've had a top 10 stack before, but never the chip lead.
Yeah, I definitely have not.
You'd be surprised at what I just told you.
Jack 10. 1 diamond.
How many times have you played the main event?
I have played the main event, the World Series,
place, huh?
all but 1 year since 2005. Unfortunately, in 2007, I was getting massacred in the side games, and after taking my 10,000th bad beat for the summer, I grabbed the remaining money I had, and I took the next flight out of Vegas. I couldn't take it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was your deepest run? You had a real nice run once, right?
I finished 43rd in 2005. Where did I finish? In 2013, I finished around... I have no idea. Either the 180s or the 280s. That's really sad. I should, for the one tournament you would think you'd know where you finished.
Yeah, right on the cusp
Yeah,
of...
and then I cashed, and then I made day 5 this past year, and again I think I finished somewhere in the 180s or 170. Maybe it was high 170s, low 180s. It's spots all run together after a while.
Yeah.
I know where I finished in a lot of the other tournaments that threatened the World Series throughout the years. At least I'm pretty certain I have, but you know, it was 283 or 285. Yeah.
It's not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
When the field's that big.
Unless you
it's
made
easy to
the
lose track.
next pay jump for an extra $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
You seem to always remember that. And this is going to be interesting here because I think Shannon's going to fold. I think Lucarelli's going to move all in with the Jack 6 suited. Is Aaron going to want to call off 40% of his stack?
3 calls.
He limps.
Okay, well that won't work. Aaron's going to...
Stick to his low variance poker.
And I would have been incorrect. All right.
Reach up.
Lucarelli, I don't think will be folding this at all.
210.
All spades. He might just check fold.
For 210, I think he'll take one off. Oh, good, good. Was that an official wager between us or not?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How much
That
are we
was
betting
close.
on these? I think
Chad-
I'm up right now.
Yeah, well, you are up 32. Chad, you're the deciding. Was that technically? I mean, I don't think it was because we didn't. I think we were just making.
I just said it was a possibility.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Chad, the neutral observer here, and here's a little bit of action on the side. Thanks a lot, Chad, for helping your boy out.
That is an impressive stack of chips.
It's really sexy when you can just build those chips up high and high of different colors. And just to think, when you start a tournament, you only start with about, what, maybe with 12 actual chips maybe, or maybe 16 actual chips, 20 chips maybe. And before you know, you got hundreds of different chips.
5 calls.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Or none.
Now this is a spot, by the way, I'd love to see Shanahan raise, put some pressure on Aaron. Even go 3x here.
I think...
Because Aaron will not be defending at all here the overwhelming time. He can really pick on Aaron while
Check, check.
while Lucarelli is pretty short.
Seems like Shanahan is also content with not playing big pots versus Aaron.
You think he gives Aaron a little too much respect?
Based off the way Aaron's playing today, he could be abusing him a lot more, I would say. I wouldn't call it too much respect.
Yeah, I definitely know if I was in Shan's spot, I would be pressuring Aaron a lot more. I don't think he'd be able to do anything here.
5 calls.
And look at that. He finally stabbed at it, and Aaron's calling with the king high. This will be interesting here if he can barrel.
Yeah,
Nope.
I thought check. That's what it was.
That's gonna slow. I
He
think.
like
I think.
angrily mucked them too.
I think Shanahan's gonna. That's gonna be interesting to see how Shanahan reacts now. That might have irritated him a little bit. He's not gonna stab at Aaron a lot now. It's like, wow, you just called me with king high.
What it means is he should fire multiple streets. You know.
And I think you're supposed to.
But then again, Aaron knows that he just saw that, and it's all metagame. It may come into play later on.
And I think Lucarelli will definitely be going all in against either one of these players here.
All
right, and he was going to definitely move in here.
3's all in.
No surprises, and Shanahan will fold in right away. And anytime he can pick up an extra 200,000 or so in the pot, he's going to be happy to take it at the moment.
Looks like he just showed him an ace and just let him know that he had it.
You showed? What was it? No. Done again.
Showed something red.
Thanks, guys.
And I think Lucarelli will be shoving the king. Unless Shanahan raises, I think Lucarelli will be raising the king 3. Yeah, he's going to raise. He's going to be forced to fold the king 3 suited here.
8 raised 450. 3 and 4 fold. 3 and 5.
I think we're getting kind of due for some type of setup cooler hand. What do you think?
You think maybe between the two big stacks?
Uh,
I mean, like I said, it worked out for Lucarelli last time. He moved. He saw the 5s and made him an extra 28,000. Maybe he'll have a shot at an extra 50,000 on accident. Or
yeah, I think it would take a big setup for Aaron to get him in there right now. Aaron had the...
I think Aaron's going to need at least ace-king. I don't even think that Aaron would go with ace-queen right now. I think Aaron needs ace-king 10s up.
I agree. Aaron had the ace-king suited versus aces that he won earlier with, I think, 2 or 3 tables left.
Yeah,
all in pre for pretty much his tournament life.
I read about Chad reported that online through the MSPT website. Heard it was about 75% of his stack. He got an ace-king of hearts versus aces, and he flopped 1 heart and turned the second. Rivered the trifecta.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for the woman that was in the pot with him. Look, it's been worth at least $80,000 for him so far, you know.
They both flop a deuce. I'm going to guess Aaron's going to bet, Shanahan's going to call it, and then they'll check turn and river unless one of them make 2 pair.
8 calls.
I'm putting that out there. Assuming nothing changes, like no one hits 2 pair or whatever, I will say... Oh, never mind. That was the contingency. I was willing to put that out there. It would have gone check down, turn, river.
5 bets 500,000.
Is Shanahan a little fed up with Aaron at this point? It looks like it.
Yeah, he's calling right away. Doesn't even think about it there.
And Aaron hasn't even done that much to cause him to be fed up.
2 pair.
Bad river for Aaron. I don't think he was going to get value on the river anyways, but definitely not on that card. Look at Shanahan is frustrated.
Shanahan's getting very frustrated now.
And he's still
the chip
great
leader.
shape, you know. He shouldn't be getting that way, but it seems like things have gotten to him somehow.
You surprised he didn't go for a value bet in the end?
The diamonds got there and the ace. I think he was just gonna check call. I'm not super surprised now. I think a bet fold would have been fine because I don't think Shanahan's the type of player that's going to bluff raise him on the river there, you know? So that's the only reason you wouldn't want to be bet folding, to avoid yourself from getting bluffed.
He might heads up, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility.
He's capable. It could happen, but that's what Aaron was probably trying to avoid by check calling.
Eight calls. 3 checks. Full checks.
They each flopped
Wow,
the
they
pair.
each flopped the pair and went
They
check, check.
yeah.
Eight
Now
checks.
Shanahan's
interesting.
got a heart draw.
Wow. He might check raise all in. He's going to be put in a really bad spot. No, he's got a pair and a flush draw.
I think. Yeah,
Because-
I was gonna say I think he's gonna check call. But
Yeah, because he knows he doesn't have an ace. He would have moved on with an ace, so...
I think Lucarelli's gonna get another value bet in here on that. And I think Shanahan is going to call.
I definitely think he's calling.
3 bets 500, 8 calls. 2 pair, ace and 10s with 9.
Must be
500,000. Look at Lucarelli. Look at all of a sudden, just quietly hanging in there.
I wonder if it's Aaron that he really doesn't like losing to, because he seemed a lot less frustrated with that pot, you know, which.
Well, maybe it was just 2 pots. Wow, how did he call king high? And
Yeah.
he 3-outered me.
Yeah, and then he got there.
deuce
He
off.
got there with the 5, so that could be more frustrating as well.
Yeah.
Aaron can have that effect on people, though, even though he's not. He doesn't seem like he really tries to have that
No,
effect
he's
like some
not.
people.
Yeah.
But
I think that seems to happen a little more. I think because I talk a lot more than Aaron. That probably is more likely with me.
yeah,
Like, it looks like Aaron's much more crazy than he really is, but no, he's just trying to pick up every small pot in sight and avoiding big pots.
8 folds.
and he just folds the Jack 9 off on the button here. He has lost momentum. You
Yeah.
know,
3 folds.
he's got to see. He's got to do something to get his groove back a little. You know. An hour ago, he would have raised that hand on the button 100%.
Definitely. I think up until 20 minutes ago,
Yeah.
with the way the couple of those hands happened. I mean, looking at this right now, Shanahan's largest cash is when he was the chip leader of the main event a couple years ago for 29,000. So this is by far the biggest cash he's ever had, and that can, even for an attorney like him, who I assume is doing all right. It's going to affect him a little bit.
3 raised to 425.
Yeah, so Lucarelli raised, and I think Aaron has just enough of a hand. He's going to.
5 raised to $1 million.
You said $1 million, yeah,
8 folds.
and nothing Lucarelli can do here. But you got to give Lucarelli credit. He's trying to, he's trying to pick up the pots while he can. Just keeps running to a better hand.
Yeah, and he hasn't really went out on a limb and done that at all. But like it seems every time he does.
He just keeps walking to a hand every time.
Yeah. Aaron was ready to. What did Luke really had to start that hand? About $3 million.
3.1, 3.2.
So Aaron was 3-bet calling there with Ace-9, which goes against kind of what he's been doing, but it's almost an unavoidable spot. He can't just fold there.
And just like that, we have maybe a 5,000 chip difference, but an identical tie for first right now between Massey and Shanahan. And Shanahan picking up Ace King right now in the small blind. And I do not think he'll be fighting the Ace King here.
I agree.
I'm curious, based on things, how big his sizing is.
I think he's going to make it about 900,000.
I'll say more. I'll say 1.15.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a raise to 315K.
8
So
raised
yeah,
to
I'm with you.
1.3.
1.3, okay.
3 folds.
Yeah, this is about what I would have expected him to. Just, I was thinking right around 3x Aaron's open.
5 fold.
Are you lucky and good? I won. I got one guy. It's 2 guys who died. I got one guy. Oh, right.
Could have been exactly what Shanahan needed. Woke up with a hand, 3-bet, and took down a pot just to kind of get him back on the right track.
And I think Lucarelli will definitely be moving in here with the 8-6 clubs this time. What do you think? Assuming that Shanahan folds the club.
I think he's going to limp.
You think he'll limp?
Yeah, that's what he's been doing.
All right,
in
I'm
this-
willing to make this official. I'll say all in. You go quick.
Okay, yeah, it's official.
3 calls.
Dang it! Now I'm 2 and 4. Oh my gosh.
5 chip.
They both flopped an 8, maybe? Yeah, oh, 8s and
Oh,
deuces for
bye-bye.
Aaron. Never mind.
I'm surprised Luke Riley's leading here. I would have liked to check there, and I would have rather preferred a check raise all in. Good night.
Yeah. this is
Actually, yeah, he's
not
going to check because he
shaping up
thinks
well.
Massey's likely to have a deuce or a 3 here.
5 bets, 3.
300,000.
And now, this is tough. I think he's just going to call. And then he's going to make a decision on the river. But like you said, Aaron's likely to have a deuce or a 3. And if he did have a 3, he would just check the turn. Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a card where all the draws got there. He's going to get away from this, I think, which is very good by Luca, really. Like, maybe Aaron had 4-5, ace-4.
No, I don't think he's going to get rid of this one.
I think he is going to fold. I mean, I don't
He found
think,
a way not to go broke here regardless.
like, all... Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I guess because he thinks Aaron's shoving the aces pre, obviously. So there's no, like, ace-4, ace-5s that got there.
The wheel got there, but that's about it.
Yeah, the wheel and the diamond, backdoor diamonds, which are unlikely, but...
300 clear.
He's got to just think Aaron had almost like a pure float on the flop, maybe a 5-6, 6-4.
This is where I think moving all in that spot, like I said, yeah, it would have been a much more ideal spot pre-flop there. I mean, he's so far behind the other two right now.
Yeah, and then he avoids that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what he's been doing. It's been working for him to
But
this
he
point.
flopped as good as he did, and still, because of that's flop, you know, he lost over half a stack.
Yeah.
I think he knows.
And now, I mean, he's at the mercy of the deck right now. No, just well, at least he's gonna pick up these blinds.
3's all in.
Much.
Shanahan thinking about making a call here?
1,680,000 total.
No.
8 folds. Annie's are now 40,000. 40,000.
40,000?
Yes, sir.
Blinds go up? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we didn't even see that blinds are up right now here. As you can see, the blinds are now 122.40, and just a bad spot for Lucarelli at the moment.
510.
Here are the chip counts for you guys to see as the blinds moved up, and Shannon's not gonna be able to do anything. He's gonna fold off about 20% of his stack there, approximately.
Is that ace-4? No,
He will definitely be all in sometime in the next 5 minutes. Whether he gets called or not's another story, but he will definitely be moving all in once or twice or calling off one of the two.
the 40K any.
But we've seen bigger comebacks than this before. Nothing's impossible. Not in tournament poker.
I wonder what he does here.
Yeah.
Jack 5.
It's me really. I think Aaron will call the queen 8
Aaron
off.
will call, yeah, if he shows. But I think he's going to...
3's all in.
I thought he was going to fold, but I think Aaron's going to call.
How much?
About 5 big blinds. He has not done the math call, and he's getting more than the right price. He's getting 2.5 to 1. $1 million to a 1.6. No, not again. He hasn't. That's pretty strong. You know, like you said, if these guys knew from their friends on breaks, the hands, you know, these guys, you know, if you were folding, they'd be moving all in on them a little bit more, especially the shorter stacks.
Yeah, definitely. Because he's playing aggressively, he's opening a lot of pots, but then he's folding to resistance pretty
Exactly.
easily.
Every
so-
single time he's folded resistance.
which is a good strategy to take at this table, especially when you're the most experienced player and you're just avoiding the high variance as best as you possibly can.
Oh god, wrong chip. Too late.
What did how many bigs did Lucarelli have that hand? He had 1.2 at
Only five big blinds. I was pretty surprised he folded for another 4 big blinds there, Aaron.
Yeah, I thought Lucarelli would fold, and then I thought Aaron would call, so spot on again.
Yeah, Aaron Olympic. And this is where you'd like to see Shanahan occasionally put the raise in. Or unless it looks like Aaron's going to... So you mix it? Yeah, he's mixing it up this time. He raised before once, actually.
With the 9 deuce, yeah, he's limped almost all the blind versus blind spots, though.
Yeah, so yeah, I think he did it, though, against one of the other shorter stacks earlier, though.
Yeah.
8 calls.
Against Rice's short stack when he was in.
I like
First
just
time
a
he's done
call
it
here
against
from
Harrison.
Shanahan.
I completely agree. And Aaron flops a flush draw.
I don't think Shanahan's going to fold to 1 bet even on this board. What do you think?
He called bottom pair twice immediately, so I think he'll at least call ace high 1 time.
5 bets, 550.
Is he giving away too much just the way he's moving?
I think he is. Looks like he's about to fold now, though. And Aaron is absolutely picking up on all those mannerisms. That's probably one of the strongest parts of Aaron's game.
And with that, I think Aaron is taking the chip lead, actually. Once again. 5 minutes left. We'll pull up the chip counts for everybody to look at here. Yep. Aaron's at 11 million. Shanahan is at 8.7. And Lucarelli sitting with 6 big blinds. He's going to have to make something happen very soon with 1.6 million.
Yeah, you can almost feel Aaron taking control in his past 30 minutes or so.
And he still hasn't busted anybody at this table.
Yeah.
You only have to bust one person in the tournament to win it.
That'd be tough to do.
5 fold.
I can confidently say I've never done that.
Yeah, I mean, even doing that at the final table, just busting one tournament, one player and winning is really not easy. This may become Aaron's new favorite casino, FireKeepers in Battle
It'd
Creek.
be hard not to be. You win the 2 biggest fields in the history of the Mid-Stakes Poker Tour outside of Vegas. How can it not be?
And Aaron doesn't even travel and play that many MSPTs, and now, if he wins this one, yeah, I think Chad said he's going to take over the all-time cash record for the MSPT Tour.
Lucarelli at least gets a little something here just in time. And same thing like before, no reason why Aaron will call with Jack 4 suited here.
Yep.
3's all in. 5
Yep,
fold.
same as before. If you fold a Queen 8 off, he's not going to call Jack 4 suited.
Yeah, Aaron's folds he's made to the 6 big blind shoves and the 9 and 10, 11, 12 big blind shoves after opening, he's taking into effect the relative stack sizes, where that many big blinds means a lot more
3 fold.
when the average stack is lower. If the average stack was a lot bigger, I'm sure he would be calling those.
5 calls.
You know, assuming Massey does get heads up with Shanahan, I think Massey, I think is going to have a very, very distinct edge. I think post flop. I think he's going to take every less volatile spot against them. And if he were to get it all in pre-flop, I expect Aaron to have a really big hand pre-flop.
Yeah, I agree. I think Shanahan will be looking to play a little bit bigger pots, and Aaron will be looking to keep them small.
Shanahan checked second pair on the flop, and he let Aaron catch up with the king.
8 raises.
And did he raise?
Yeah, that looks like about 800,000 or so. 7.
I think Aaron's going to fold top pair here. What do you think?
Or maybe it's more even.
I'm sorry, 1 million.
But is that a 40 stack? Yeah, so that's
over $1 million.
1.25 million.
250,000.
$1.3 million. This is a good play against Aaron in general, the way Aaron's been playing, you know? But Aaron happens to have top pair here.
I think Aaron's going to fold. You?
I
2 and 4. You want it?
I think he's going to call.
All right. Is this official?
Yeah. But with the mannerisms Aaron has had, it also looks kind of more like towards your side. Shanahan hasn't done anything like this.
All right.
You
I
got
got
3
it.
and 4.
After 3 in a row. All right.
See, like, yeah, if these guys were doing that to Aaron more often.
They could have been really just dwindling Aaron down a lot more.
But the reason Aaron's playing that way is because he's banking on them not doing that to him.
Exactly.
So. Aaron had to have picked up on the fact that Shanahan was kind of fed up at this point, you know, so I'm surprised that he did just fold to that right there. But it does go with the style he's been playing. He's going to be in a tough spot on the river if Shanahan fires another big bet.
2 million or so, 2.5 million. And he's like, well, I did this all the whole time. I got it, and then I just called off over a third of my stack with top pair, no kicker.
Yeah, I don't fault him for the fold. That was a weird hand for Shanahan to do that with. You know, he had third pair or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he could do it with more hands that are bluffs rather than that hand, but it ended up working out.
And Luke Riley's not going to get a spot here at all.
5-10.
Mash is going to raise. It should be a few folds. And I think he's just going to hopefully get a spot to move on again on Aaron's big blind here.
Eventually, Aaron's going to have a hand to call with, though.
Of course. So that's how tournament poker inevitably works.
Yeah. Yeah, even though Aaron has the highest VPIP and highest PFR, he's got the lowest win to showdown now.
Yeah, correct.
That really shows exactly how he's taken to this table, what strategy he came in with. And he's executed it very well.
And Luke really did not get a hand. Fortunately for him, he did not get a hand like Queen 10 this time. But this will be interesting. So Shanahan's going to get aces for the third time, I think.
Yep.
But Massey will definitely be defending the big blind here.
3 fold.
We have not seen a single blood flop, have we?
I don't think this pot. I mean, Aaron could lose a few streets here, but I don't think this pot will get for stacks unless Aaron has the
Flops
best hand.
2 pair.
Yeah.
Or ace 10-10.
Looks like
5 check.
See one picture card.
not.
8 check.
Check,
Oh my.
Check. He did that. He did that.
Yeah,
with
it's definitely
aces.
going to go check.
5 check.
Okay. That looks like a bit pretty small there. Oh, that looked more than it was.
5 calls.
If Aaron makes a straight, is he going to just lead out?
I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
I think he is. Yeah.
I agree. I think the way Shanahan is right now, I think Shanahan's going to pay off. You?
I don't know.
I bet 1.1 million.
I think he's going to pay off 2, yes. That's really bad. River Flush got there, Straights got there, 2 pairs got there.
I think it's going to be a very. I think after a couple of the other hands we've seen, I think it's going to be a frustration call.
Yeah, crying call for sure. Here he got aces and got the worst possible river ever. He makes a good
Look at
fold.
that. Good for him.
Yeah.
I'm proud of Shanahan there. Good for him. Not too often you see the aces fold in a 3-handed tournament.
He had the ace of hearts too, which was adds a little bit of a wrinkle.
Any
to the
shot
hand.
he could have, if he hadn't given too much away, you know, that he'd like hated that river
He
card.
could have made Aaron fold for sure.
An all-in would have worked.
Yeah. But that would be pretty
Potential-
ballsy.
Yeah. And Luke
think-
Rally's going to move all in, and
Yep.
Aaron, is he going to call or is he going to re-raise?
I think he's gonna isolate just like a small amount, maybe make it like 11 bigs or something.
Call. 5 calls.
Oh, he just let it. Now Aaron has
Okay.
a shot to finally knock somebody out. But all 3 kings are alive, and the hearts are pretty live. I think a king's actually going to come for Luke Rally. He must have flopped a 4.
I think it's a 5.
Oh, no backdoors. It has to be a king only. Wow, what a bad break. No single backdoor. Like no 3 to a straight. No 3 flush. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah, that wasn't an ideal flop for him at all.
And that's going to do it. Frank Lucarelli played very well at this final table and survived the short stack as long as he could. Laddered up in a few spots where a few people would have gone out in either 4th, 5th, or 6th. And
I'm good. I'm not moving.
this actually is the second time he's cashed for the MSPT. He cashed in last year's Venetian tournament in the summer, 11, 12 months ago. Lucarelli's going to walk away with $85,699. Professional poker player out of Woodhaven, Michigan, and I've got no doubts if he cashed last summer and cashed here, he'll happily be playing here at the Venetian in a few weeks.
Not a bad weekend for him.
No, I have no doubts he's going to be thrilled about this. Maybe a little upset he's not going to be winning this tournament, but at the end of the day, to win $86,000, he's going to be quite happy. So congratulations to Frank. And now we're at the position every poker player wants to get in a tournament. Heads up.
Yep, and it's the 2 guys that you said it looked to inevitably be leading to was
Aaron Massey
Yeah.
versus Mike Shanahan, the professional poker player versus the attorney. Massey's gonna start with about a 3-2 chip lead to start with, but things can change very quickly. Here are the stacks that you guys can see right now. 13. It's about 12.6 actually to 8 million.
yeah, with over 40 big blind average, the way Aaron's playing, I expect this heads-up match to actually take quite some time.
Yeah, I agree.
And these guys have both played great throughout the final table, and they both deserve to be here.
Absolutely.
Are those 40 high?
2 very deserving potential champions of this tournament. The question is, can Aaron Massey do it for a second time winning back-to-back events here, or back-to-back events in May? I shouldn't say that because there's an event here in October, as you guys know, in the Michigan State Poker Championship. But it would be pretty impressive. A win here would be his second MSPT win, and would make him the number 1 on the all-time money list for the Mid-Stakes Poker Tour. Mike Shannon, this is his second cash in Evansville, a couple seasons, I believe last year. A former triple leader of the WSOP main event at one point, but this has already exceeded his biggest payday by about $90,000. Doing the math really quickly for you guys. And Aaron, it's been a while by Aaron Sanders not to have a win anywhere. So this is going to be a very good day for both of these individuals, regardless of who wins. But right now, they are after the money, they are after the victory, and having the right to be called MSPT champion. Something I hope to eventually join one day with you in this. We might have a long ways to go.
Yeah, you just got to get out and play them, and show up.
Just
It'll
been
likely
taking-
eventually
yeah,
happen.
I've just been taking a break, a little bit of a break poker lately, so I haven't been traveling as much. But the juices are starting to flow, so after the summer, I'm gonna try to get to a few more spots when the time allows. But I already got a few other plans going on. I got a couple football games to go to in the fall.
Yeah.
My sister's wedding. I've got to. I guess I got to. Jenna, do I got to show up for your wedding? Am I allowed to play the MSPT event in Michigan? Will you mind? You think who would mind more, you or mom and dad?
I'm sure they'd all be okay with it.
Yeah. I think my mom would have a heart attack. My dad would be irate, and Jenna would probably never talk to me again.
It'd be worth it to play another MSPT,
Absolutely.
though, right?
Oh, I mean, if I win the tournament, I can give them all the money. Then, nah, I don't think it's doing again.
A little bit every, something for everybody here.
All right, I'll shin it.
Shanahan's been checking back with some of his better value hands a lot, you know?
Well, would this be the time Aaron pays off if a 8 or smaller comes off? Is this the time he'll finally pay off 2 streets?
He did it with, not 2 streets, but he paid off the river bet with the ace-9.
But there was only one
Yeah.
bet. It got checked
Yeah,
on the flop in the
exactly.
turn.
It wasn't 2 streets. I think this might be the time that Aaron pays off 2 streets. See how much he bets. There's 1.7 million in the pot.
If he bets about $1 million, I think Shannon would take over as the chip leader. Actually, it's about. Aaron's made about every correct decision so far at this table.
Yeah.
And let's see if he can do it one more time. He doesn't like it, Aaron, obviously.
He's probably going to try to talk to him here pretty soon.
5 calls.
Oh, no. He just
did
already
call.
called, yeah.
Yeah, that might be the first. It's only a minor misstep, but it is the first one I think maybe Aaron's made. It's going to benefit Shanahan, as I believe when pot gets sorted out, I think Shanahan will take the chip lead here.
Yep, it says 11 mil to 10 mil now.
Here, we'll pull that up for you guys. And yeah, 44 to 43 big blinds. This is going to be an interesting match. Like I said, I think Aaron's going to want to draw this out as long as possible. I don't think Shanahan necessarily minds that as long as he doesn't feel like he's getting bullied or whatever. Because I think if he feels he's getting bullied in a pot or two, he might press the action unnecessarily.
If things don't go his way for a few hands in a row, it could change the way that they end up playing this out. You know, if it keeps going back and forth, I think it'll be both people will stay level-headed, and it could take a long time. But I think if Aaron loses 4 or 5 pots in a row, it's not going to get to him nearly as much as if Shanahan does. You know,
I completely agree about that.
that's not taking anything away from Shanahan, but it's just more giving to Aaron's experience.
Yeah, he's been in this spot before. As you can see, Shanahan, this is the most money he's ever won in a tournament before. So, the frustration, the first or second time when you get up there when you're playing for really big money, it can definitely affect you. There's no question about that. I think this is a hand actually Shanahan should probably be folding a pre-flop, playing a hand like Queen 3 off out of position. I don't think it's an ideal spot. If we're suited or the Queen were a little bit closer to about a Queen 7, Queen 8, I could understand. I think Queen 3 is a little too much. What do you think? Would you defend it even if it was 2.2x pre-flop from Aaron?
It honestly depends on my opponent. Against Aaron, I probably would be folding it, but I might be defending a little wider against different opponents. But yeah, look like that. You defended, you flop top pair, you bet, and
you
Aaron
still got nothing out of it.
So that's more of an argument for folding for sure. Is Aaron's not gonna make too many mistakes post flop.
You're ruthless, man. Ruthless. I got a grin out of you. There it is. You're not so bad. You can smile.
Let's see, heads up if Shanahan's going to raise hands like Queen 6 off in position or if he's going to be limping. Looks like he's going to be taking the aggression roll when he's in position. That's good. He needs to take action when he's in position against Aaron. No, a hand like what Massey has, as opposed to what Shanahan last time. It's a hand like 6-3 suited plays much better than Queen 3 off because you can flop a lot more things.
Yeah, Aaron actually folded, I think, Queen Deuce or Queen 3 off in the same spot before and defended this hand. So
5 checks, 8 checks.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron run 2 streets
check.
here. No, okay.
8 checks.
Well, I mean,
Aaron will be betting the river here. Now he won't.
yeah,
bet.
probably not.
Yeah,
Looks
that
like
was
a bad
that was the
card.
worst card because I think he doesn't think he's gonna get called by ace high.
I don't know if he would have bet the river even if he didn't change. I think if he was going to bet, he would have run 2 streets on turn and river.
Yeah.
But Shanahan, like I said, has been checking back a lot of his good value hands, so maybe that's why Aaron is deciding not to fire into that. Shanahan's checked back the aces on the Jack 10-9, the set of 6s on 6, 7, 8, 2 diamonds, and then the King Queen on the King Jack 10.
Very
So
true.
it's been 3 different times where he's shown.
This
that
is
he
your
might-
first time announcing, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty impressive job. You're doing great.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I enjoy being in here.
So, boys, if Aaron does end up winning this, I don't know what to ask him in the winner's interview. I mean, I just did one with him here a year ago.
Just repeat the same
Yeah,
question.
It's the same one?
Just go to the archive. Say, hold on, I got to look at the questions last time. Well, I mean, Shanahan figures to win this hand here. Shanahan's definitely going to put the re-raise in, I assume, right?
8 raise
Yeah, I
for
would guess.
1.4. 5 fold.
Who's done more winners interviews, you or Aaron, Chad?
Yeah.
Any chance we can bring the winner back here real quick, or is that going to be not possible?
That's not possible. They're going to be too busy doing their winner's photo, doing the interview with me, getting paid out, and we immediately set to tearing down the set because we want to get out of here. So if Aaron does win this, he'll become just the 9th person in MSPT history to win multiple titles. We have only one person, Carl Caradenudo, who's won 3 titles. He
first
did
hand I won, heads
that
up.
in an 11-month span last season, which was just
The Bulldogs
incredible.
are no longer.
And then it looks like
thought
7
it was gonna
others
be a
have won 2
full
MSPT
sweep, man.
titles, which is actually pretty impressive when you consider this
That's
is
traction.
the 104th, number 104 main events. This is so.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, winning 3 is really amazing with Carl, and he just came on the scene. He burst onto it, what,
Yeah,
a year and a
in
half ago?
December 2015, he won
Yeah.
MSPT Canterbury, and then he came back in April of 2016, the very next time we were at Canterbury, and won it again.
Yeah,
Adam was there.
remember
Adam was there. He was at that final
I never
table.
fought the pair, ever.
Stuff to do.
And then later in the season, he flew out to Golden Gates Casino in Blackhawk, Colorado, and promptly shipped that one too. It
Is that
was-
the one where he got heads up with Elsa? Were they
Yes,
heads up?
and
Yeah,
then
that-
his buddy Rich got heads up, that was just a week after he had final tabled and took 6th at Meskwaki. So it was just a really incredible run. He finished, I think it was 31st in this event here.
Oh. Yeah,
Like I said
right.
earlier, was his worst MSPT cash.
It's pretty impressive.
You're kicking my butt, man.
Final table, and he finished what 30th day.
Yeah, 31st, I think.
The peak of his career is behind him. He's done. Carl,
He's
you're
certainly
done.
a run above average, I'd say.
Shanahan picking up a very sexy 10-9 suited. Here's going to raise. Aaron will fold as quickly as possible.
Maybe this is the sort of hand that can make legends. To win a 17 million chip pot with 7 deuce.
Legends fold 7 deuce off.
Smart players
In
fold
2017.
7 deuce off.
But
Actually, I did raise the 7 deuce actually one time yesterday when it was towards the end of the day and everyone was trying to get through the day, and then I promptly got 3-bet. I'm like, how did that happen?
he didn't have any blockers.
Apparently. Well, I got blockers on the pocket 7s.
So yeah, Aaron did pause a moment there before folding the 7 deuce though, just like the 10-3 earlier. That's twice now.
It definitely would not have gotten through for certain. The question is if,
10-9,
the only question is if he would have flopped anything with the 10-9 suited.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see, this is gonna be interesting. Aaron's gonna raise, and Shanahan will definitely be re-raising the ace-10 suited here. By the way,
I think the
he's playing.
sizing will depend on what Aaron does. If it's smaller, he's probably gonna take a flop. If it's bigger, he's probably gonna fold.
I think Massey's gonna take a. I think regardless, Massey's gonna take a flop. Oh, you just find it?
Okay.
Wow. Okay, I was wrong.
That doesn't. I mean, it's not that surprising. It's
If there are 3 clubs here,
It's
Aaron
over?
Massey
Will it be
will
over?
definitely be losing.
Looks like red cards to me.
yeah. They also
8 shut.
paint and red. Yeah.
Yep, and Massey is able to flop a king, and he checks behind. Interesting. Is it an ace? Nope.
8 shut.
You think Shanahan's gonna call here on the flop?
I think he'll call the turn once. Yes.
5 bet 605.
He has that kind of feel that he doesn't want to let Aaron run him over a little bit. You know.
I
It's
agree.
been that way since 5-handed. Wrong again.
Good for him.
Yeah. Good fold.
A lot of our viewers might know Mike Shanahan as the former head coach of the Denver Broncos. No?
Mike Shanahan,
That was it.
Is that, yeah, that was the,
his brother Kyle Shanahan.
no, well, Mike Shanahan was the old one. Am
Former
I wrong?
Former
Josh, you know football a little
former
bit.
coach of the Oakland
No,
Raiders, former offensive coordinator for the San Francisco
It's-
49ers. No,
In case
who is
there's-
that?
In case there's any confusion, that's not really him.
That's
No.
not this Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
I wish it was. That would be a great story.
I tried going Ace Ventura there. That didn't seem to work out.
Chad was just spreading some useless knowledge on us there.
Pocket kings for Aaron. Not going to get any action.
No.
Oh god, here he goes. Oh no.
He's not even gonna show him.
He's like, I hate life. Why no action on my kings?
What was the hand when you won your bracelet, Adam? What was the final hand? I know it was a stud hand.
Jacks and 5s, and I do not remember the kicker. I just played Todd like a fiddle there. He completed his 10. I flatted 2 jacks on 3rd. I caught a low card, so he checked thinking I was going low. Then I caught a high card. I checked. He bet. I raised, and I just incinerated Todd in that hand. It was a beautiful thing.
What did he call you with?
He called the pair of tens.
One
I mean,
pair of
Todd
tens.
Brunson, such a rookie. I just incinerated.
Poker Hall of Famer Todd Brunson, the rookie.
Now, what does that say about the Poker Hall of Fame if Todd Brunson's in it?
5
Massey.
Anybody
got
can
another hand.
anybody can
Sevens.
incinerate Todd here.
8 calls.
And guys, it's not hard to beat Todd, I promise. His father, on the other hand, good luck. Speaking of his father, the rumors on Doyle's he might play a couple of the 10Ks at the Rio this summer, after the World Series of Poker.
Aaron's been running really poorly already for the beginning of this heads-up match, but
Yes.
it hasn't. It doesn't seem like it's gotten to him yet.
You think Shannon will call, or is he gonna raise?
I think he'll call. The one hand Aaron got a walk like the first pot that he really won. He was like cheering sarcastically, and it seemed like it hasn't bothered him yet. But at some point, you wonder if it will.
8 shut.
Will Aaron turn his hand to a bluff?
5 shut.
Nope.
Maybe now.
It's gonna go check.
5 shut.
He just hasn't made the best hand much.
You think
Shanahan's
Shanahan should
been-
occasionally value bet there?
No. Shanahan's been playing well. He's been getting value from his hands. He's been folding his losers, you know.
He's played well. He lost the minimum with the ace-10.
Mm-hmm.
He's under. He's right now. He's pretty composed at the moment. In fact, actually, because of how well things have been going for me, he's held more than his own so far. Heads up. It might be a bad thing that for him the break is coming in about 8 minutes or so from now.
Yeah.
I think if he lost a few pots and things had gone the opposite, I think this break couldn't come quick enough.
Yeah, I think it's a neutral thing that the break's coming now for him, but it could have been a good thing if
Yeah.
he was headed in the other direction.
Shanahan with the suited 8 deuce in position. This might be one of the few open limps.
I don't think he'll open limp this hand.
You think he's gonna fold?
Looks like a
Oh
limp.
man, why didn't
Looks like a limp.
I could have gotten a 4 and 4 with you. Dang it, I'm the worst. I'm so bad.
I mean, that's not really a hand like that's gonna play very well if you're gonna enter the pot, even from position. I'm probably just gonna raise. Maybe if it was a little more connected, I wouldn't mind a limp, but
Check.
5 check.
I'm surprised there haven't been more open button limps in this heads-up match yet, though.
That's 410.
And Shanahan outflopping Aaron here. Aaron has really not really made any plays on anybody post-flop, has he?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
He's thinking about it for the first time. Nope, he's going to stick to his strategy.
Staying disciplined.
But a little bit on the higher side there, 410,000, I think, into about a $560,000 pot there. But Shanahan right now with about a little over 13 million to Massey's 7.8. Massey's going to raise King 5 off here, and I think Shannon will fold. Oh, I mean, he called Queen 6 off.
Yeah, I think
he'll
it'll
call
go
this one?
raise call.
Yeah, I take that back. Why am I not going with my initial thing? I could have been leading now.
What did Aaron go a little bigger sizing there?
No. 122.40 made it 525.
Okay.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have made it 500.
Yeah, he defended the Queen 3 and then folded the King 3.
No, have you played FireKeepers before? Before this
This
weekend?
is only my second time being here.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back for sure. It's a great stop. They do a really good job running things.
I mean, I feel bad. I got to skip this in October for my sister's wedding. I mean, I guess my sister's putting the time that she earned it, but I will definitely be back here next May again.
You know, a great wedding
All things,
present for her and your future brother-in-law would be to buy them in to the Michigan State Poker Championship in October.
And just tell them to skip the wedding. I don't think either of them really play any poker. Actually, I will say this. My sister, when my sister graduated college, she was playing a little bit when she was living in Pittsburgh for a while. It was her and about, what she told me, about 8 to 10 other guys, and she kept finishing top 3 over and over because she listened to a couple things I told her. So when her and I were in Vegas about 10 years ago, or 10, 12 years ago, I forget how long, maybe 8 to 10 years ago. We
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, Adam.
Queen, queen suited.
Oh, you mean people would rather see us and then talk about my sister?
Hey, I'll talk about your sister all day.
Aaron's
but,
got
be
30, 32 bigs.
Will Aaron go with it?
Over.
That's the question.
32 and a half.
Is there any? Will you think Aaron can just flat?
I don't know. This is tough.
1.4.
I think he's gonna go with it.
1.4 million.
1.4.
Yeah, I think Aaron's going with it.
All in.
All in and call.
And right away.
What a heads-up hand. I
Let's
mean,
see how Aaron
Right.
runs.
And this is for, can Shanahan be the newest MSPT champion? He's 5 cards away. I saw a paint. I saw a paint in the flop.
No heart.
No backdoor diamonds. It's going to have to be an ace or there are chop out. He could go king jack or king 10. I'm sorry. Oh, and speaking of king 10,
Halfway there.
wow, we are
Needs
one
an
card
ace.
away from our newest MSPT champion. Or can Aaron come from behind and double up
needs
here?
an ace or a
Ace
10.
or 10, yep, or it's
Yeah,
all
man.
over.
It's not. It
And
pairs
that's
the
it.
board.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
That's kind of just a cooler setup hand, like we talked about what it was going to take for this to
Good game.
finish. And congratulations to
Both guys played terrific. Congratulations to both these guys.
Yeah.
First off, our runner-up, Aaron Massey. Well, is he not going to be second on the all-time money list?
I think he's going to be either second or third. Whatever it is, he's got a boatload.
Yeah, Aaron's going to finish second, winning $131,646 here. I'm sure he's going to be very happy taking that money coming for the next 6-7 weeks. He'll be in Vegas, especially when he's playing the Venetian MSPT event. We've said enough about him, but all day, and he did a phenomenal job. Might have played the best of anyone here today. But today's winner, a very deserving champion, in Mike Shanahan, an attorney out of Aaron.
Avon.
I'm sorry,
Avon.
out of Avon. I'm sorry, out of Avon, came in with the middle stack, and when all came to it, he kept picking up the right hands at the right time, and look how happy he is, and he can tell us it's relief. But it's a well-deserved honor, and he's won now the biggest tournament outside of Las Vegas, winning $216,829. No small feat to do, as he beat a great final table, arguably the best final table I've ever broadcasted here on the MSPT.
Guys, I want to say thanks for joining me in the booth. To all the viewers who are watching the largest poker tournament in Michigan State history, this is going to do it. Congrats to Mike Shanahan. The MSPT will be at Venetian June 5th through the 9th. No live stream from that event, which means you're going to have to wait until MSPT Meskwaki in late July to join us. So tune in then. Until then, good night from FireKeepers Casino in Battle Creek, Michigan.